Hello. Welcome to Knit Night. I'm Liz. I'm not surrounded by my co-host. Therese isn't here. She had her dog died, so today wasn't a good day for her, and she'll be on the next podcast. And Joe Bob will be here on Friday when we podcast again. But I'm joined by our good friends Caro and Amy and Neil, who's celebrating the anniversary of Blocked Magazine. How many years is it, Neil?
Oh, is that what we're doing? I'm so happy to be here.
3 full years, coming into our 4th year now. So.
Oh,
awesome.
I thought you weren't going to last one issue.
No,
yeah.
2 months. Wow.
Wow.
The last 2 months, apparently.
And yet, all those other fancy schmancy magazines that came out, where are they?
Right?
Well,
there's a racist magazine that I'm always going on about, and they're really struggling at the moment.
Oh, no.
An actual racist magazine.
Oh, are they? Oh, no.
Imagine that.
Yeah. You're only allowed to contribute unless, if you're of a certain shade.
But you're allowed to buy it if you're other shades.
But if I identify as that shape, I can still buy it, right?
You can buy it. Yeah, you can buy it. You just can't contribute. So you can't be in it. You can't.
Is diversity owned? It's a run by a black lesbian, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So.
Oh no, I'm not on about Blocked. I'm on about the racist magazine.
I know.
She just
Blocked is was just as equally diverse.
And I know you have a deadline coming up, so if anybody wants to submit anything, send it to Neil. Patterns, articles, whatever. This one's for you, Caro. Oh, Tomsky's in the chat too. Hey everybody.
Hello.
Hi Pirate.
We had a calendar for you. We were trying to find you to give you the calendar. We couldn't find you.
Oh. So welcome, those of you who guys got together. I'm jealous. Maybe one day Amy and I can go to one of those, and Neil and Tabitha and everybody else.
I snuck in while they were having dinner, and I had like a little tiny dessert, and then somebody brought me cake. It was
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So did you? Are you in Texas?
I am in Texas.
So right, okay. Are you far from where they were, or did you have to travel for like 18 hours?
It was just an 1.5 hour drive, so you would have had to stop overnight like partway through.
Hey Pirate. But now Neil's making a blanket for his vehicle, so if he does have to stop overnight, I guess he could cover up and take a nap if he needs to.
The person that brought me cake was supposed to
It's not big enough to cover me just yet. It's only big enough to probably cover like my head at the moment.
Yeah, but you'll get there. That one's engaging enough to keep your attention.
Well, I tell you what, I've been in such a knitting slump lately, and this is really kind of I think it's a combination of the bright colours and the pattern, because the pattern is quite interesting, and it's by the time you get bored of what you're doing, you're on to the next bit, and then you're changing again. So it's kind of keeps you going, if you know what I mean.
Nice.
Well, it seems like the slump has been going around.
Yeah. Is it just because of the month?
Yeah.
Just because of the time of year?
No, I have so many things that I want to do that I just don't have any desire to actually cast them on. And then when you go to cast something on, it's like, oh, I can't get Gauge, so I'll just not knit and then read. And then you're like, oh, I should knit.
What Tabitha would say? She'd say, don't bother doing the Gauge.
Okay.
Well, I find for garments, it helps give you some kind of criteria. I never get Gauge, but as long as I'm in
Can I show
the
off
area?
This? So happy.
That's so good.
Oh, wait, let me make you big.
I was kind of questioning that when you started it, but now it's coming.
That's very cool. That's why I said it'll keep your attention.
Yeah, and this is that yarn, that the very first hand-dyed yarn that I bought that I regretted. I've regretted it ever since, because it was just way too bright. Because like now I'd go for something a little bit more subtle, and I just couldn't ever find anything that would work for this yarn, and this works perfectly.
No, I love it. I think it's great.
I'm just hoping I've got enough, because as each ring of this that you do, obviously you use more yarn because it's getting bigger, obviously. So I've got another 6 yarns to use. But I'm wondering by the time I get sort of out here, I'm thinking I might be running out and not be able to get the same.
Well, you know what? If you run out of the colorful, you could always do like a gray or a neutral and just finish it,
That's true.
with. Yeah. So then you just have the pop in the middle.
Well, I'm even considering
It'd be like clouds around a rainbow.
Thinking of turning it into a sweater.
Oh, Mom, I think you could pull it off. You're Nittler. You can wear anything.
I'm old enough to wear whatever the hell I want these days.
Exactly.
Mama Nevin wants to know if it's your if it's
No,
blocked,
it's not
but I don't.
mine.
It's not your pattern though.
I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but it's by Woolly Thoughts, and I'll share the pattern if anyone. Well, I can't share the pattern because it's a paid for pattern, but I'll share where I got it from if anyone wants to know.
Sweet.
It's something circle. I can't. Obviously.
It is very cool. I think it'd be really cool if you did self-striping sock yarn.
Yeah, well, I think that was the original one, and I think I'll probably do this again, but I'd do a few little changes next time, because the pattern's written to be knitted flat, and I did the middle yellow bit flat, but then you have like quite an ugly seam, or I've got an ugly seam because I'm not the greatest at sewing, whereas all the other circles I did in the round, you know, purling, knitting around, purling around, and I'd rather do that than knit everything. The guy that designed it is a mathematician, and so everything is carefully calculated to work, and it doesn't feel like it's going to at the beginning because it doesn't, you know, it's all out of shape, but then it works perfectly so far.
It's very cool.
That's gonna be my new life motto. I'm out of shape, but it works perfectly.
Yeah, give it time and it works.
I'm gonna embrace that. Give it time. It's out of shape, but it works.
I can go for that.
That's my new motto.
So what's everyone else working on? So I know that Caro's bound to be working on a shawl.
How did you know?
I'm sure it's a 5-piece baby set cardigan with like brioche.
No, because here it is.
Oh,
This is it. We're starting
Oh,
it.
look at you, stripey stripe.
I'm doing stripes, and my Trello yarn finally came in. I don't know if
Hey.
Lynn's here and hearing this. Like, Lynn sent me this yarn like forever ago, and then like the USPS was like, "We lost your package." I was like, "You're gonna fucking find it."
is it black and white or is it black, grey, and white?
So it's starting off as black and white for like the solid contrast, and then I'm working in the sparkle yarn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sparkle, sparkle.
Sparkle.
Bitches. I'm so excited.
Very cool.
I'm working on my proof that I'm working on blocked.
Oh.
Oh, let me make him. Oh, is that Party Beats or is that Mardi Gras?
This is the king cake. The king cake.
Oh, king cake. Yeah, that's very
So,
cool. I love the pooling.
My lone contribution to block this month will be my gumbo sock recipe, which is how I make my socks, which is a mishmash of everything, which is what gumbo is. So I decided to roll with it. But
that's good to me.
I also finished the sock that I was desperately trying to finish for the local yarn store, which I'm going tomorrow.
Ooh, exciting.
I can't wait. So
Nice. What kind of which yarn's that? That's the
this
commercial one, isn't it?
So it's very opal-y to me. So if you like opal and can't get opal, I'm not sure.
It does look like opal.
I'm not sure if she plans on selling online. I would assume she is in time.
Ooh, pretty.
But, so this is the one sample, and I asked her. I said, "Do you want me to make a second sock? Because I have a lot of yarn left, or do you want me to make? Because I could still make a sock, or do you want me to make?" Hi, Therese. Love you.
We love you, Therese.
Oh,
Sorry, and we'll see you Friday.
Or I said, "Do you want us to make me like a fingerless glove?" So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I
Would
like
that
the
be
colours.
Would
I
that
love
be
the
weird
colors.
if you were in a yarn shop and there's just like one sock and like one glove to show the yarn? Would that be weird, or would you expect to see a pair?
No, I'd only expect to see
No,
one.
I've seen yarn dyers who do one sock and they'll hang a whole bunch of socks in their different colorways, just one
Yeah.
sock to show them
Because
off.
the point is
so.
just for her to show the yarn, you know,
Yeah.
and what it looks like.
I'd rather
so.
see, I don't know, a glove and a sock or a
Yeah.
hat and a sock. You
Car-
know, so you can
Caro,
see more than one.
Emily wants to know, do you give some of your shawls away or do you use the same pattern or do you keep them?
I saw the question. I just didn't want to talk over anybody.
Oh, okay.
So
Why not? The rest of us do.
It's just how I am. Okay, like, oh, they're sharing great wisdom. I want to listen, but I also want to answer the question. What my conundrum is here. I do not use the same pattern. I usually this one I'm just doing it like how I feel like right now. So I'm like right now I'm like I want to put a layer of black on here, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's almost like Amy's gumbo method. But I don't keep them. I only have one, and the rest I usually gift to other people. So there was one I made last year, and it was for my friend who was really sad about family things. So as I was making it, I was like happy thoughts like puppy dogs and bacon and But the last one I made that you guys saw last time, I gave it to Anne, so she's got it right now.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and this is a Wenneth yarn king cake. Did I say it right now?
A Wenneth, yes.
A Wenneth. Okay. Look at me. Finally learning how to say
sing
it.
and then it's even better.
After all these years. Finally learned how to say
So
it.
proud of you.
I am. So I'm working on a hat. It's just playing around with different stitches with some leftover
Ooh.
yarn.
Is that the ribbon there with cables?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
They're fake. They're the fake cables.
Yeah.
They're not really cables, but I still have to figure it out because it doesn't look quite what I wanted, but it's close. So I'll play around with it. And then I decided I was going to start, I was working on that sweater last week, the Gingy Knits one, but my yarn is crocking out and I got tired of my fingers being blue. So I need to, it means when the hand dyed yarn, all the dye isn't used or washed out.
Yeah.
And so when you use it, it comes off on your hands.
Oh, it's like bleeding. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I
So-
had a chat with, I can't remember whether it was Shauna. I think it was Shauna. And we were talking about, or was it it might be somebody else. So sorry if it was one of you guys. But someone was saying that it can be the oils in your skin
Mhm. Yeah.
to make
Are you
it happen.
saying
So it might
oily?
happen for you,
Are
but
you
not for
saying we're
somebody
oily?
else.
Well, I mean,
Or like-
I
Yeah.
would get it like if it's like black yarn or really, really dark blue, I might get it like in the one spot of my finger where I hold it. Like if I do it for a long time. But
Yeah.
like on my hands, that's no.
Well, and I have gotten it once or twice on yarn, like some black yarn I had it on, and then I stopped using that black yarn, and then I used another dyer's black yarn, and no problem. Like I've used a lot of really deep, intense
Mhm.
colors
Yeah,
and
you
not
do.
had that problem. But this time it wasn't on the first skein, it was on the second skein I started using,
Mhm.
and it's life in the long grass. And I love the yarn. They have a great sport weight, but I just don't feel like having blue fingers right now. So I put that on hold. And I'm going to cast on something that's been on my list for a while. It's called the Boxy Chevrons
Oh.
by Sosu Knits. And I'm very excited because it's a really fun construction. You start do the sleeves, and then
Is that like a chevron down the sleeve?
yeah, you do the sleeves and you seam up part of the sleeves, and then you pick up around the edges of the sleeves to make the body, and then you just knit it down in one piece.
Hmm.
But it's been on my list, and I love her construction. She always has out of the box, modular, different construction, but her patterns are impeccably written, and they're written for all different sizes, body shapes, lengths. You can pick what you want, but they're very well written. So I'm going to do that with the main color is going to be the blue, and then the chevrons are going to be this multi. This is looking more gray, but it's actually blue.
Hmm.
I had another color for the chevrons, but it's not enough contrast. So I want it to pop. And this is stash yarn. So
Hey.
So it's
I
free.
bought it. I got it for the breathing space sweater, which I'm probably never going to make until I lose a lot of weight. So I might as well use it for this.
I am failing miserably at the not buying yarn.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Like
And
I
it's all
counted it,
Tabitha's fault.
and like I did not count it like Tabitha. Tabitha hardcore counted it. I just counted the hand dyed. I'm like, I am gonna vomit if I count all the acrylic because in my head that's for the babies. It doesn't count. That is my rule,
Well,
and I'm going with it. And then I
last
didn't
month
count
was my birthday.
I didn't count anything that was like caked up and ready to go, which now it's all on my like yarn thingy that I hang the project bags on. It's not cast on, it's just caked up. That really shouldn't count, but I didn't count it. I don't care. So I'm like, now I'm to the point where I'm like, oh, you order some stitch stoppers? You might get yarn.
Yeah, I
Just FYI, everybody that orders stitch stoppers.
I did get yarn a few times from Tina last month.
And
but
then
it's Tina.
But she keeps buying more colors, and I'm like, Bestie, you have got to like either tell me when you're gonna do them all so I can make one big order.
I know.
And put it on
And then
the
she'll come out a
Amazon.
new one.
Put it on the Amazon credit card that my husband's paying attention to. Then I can pay it off weekly and he won't notice. Or, and I have a coupon code.
I know. This is hers. This is I forgot this lawn gnome was still alive.
Yeah,
OMG.
I got that. I got that, and the
Got
other
that.
Nomi one. The other Nomi one. But the
And-
Margaret one that she just put out, the hot pink. I don't really care,
Yeah.
Margaret. I was
That
like,
was that's fantastic.
That's for my blanket pattern.
and I'm
She's
not like a pink
dying that.
girl, but man, that was pretty.
It's gonna go with these two by her, the Knit Night
Yes.
and the Matcha. So
there
for
is a
my blanket.
There is a Two Sisters coupon I'll post on my YouTube later if y'all, since we probably won't podcast until February's over.
Oh, yeah. That's terrible. Okay, before I forget, because it is
Ah.
February, thank you everyone who participated in the knit along for the Christmas sweater. And a lot of you guys did.
I won.
You actually had to knit a sweatering. Sorry. So there were a lot of people who did multiple sweaters. So I ended
That's
up picking
amazing.
3 from
Woohoo!
everybody. And the first one is Likatava. Tavia.
I can never say her name.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
I don't want to say her real name because I don't know if she wants people to know because it's an Instagram
Yeah,
name.
that's her. That's her
Mhm.
username.
And
yeah.
then Baker Street Knits is the other one. And I know you're in the chat, so congratulations. And then the third one is Elizabeth JDY Knits, who
Woohoo!
also did a couple sweaters. And if you guys send me your addresses or get in touch with me, I will get those prize packages out at the end of the week when I send the other prize packages from earlier. So congratulations and thank you guys
Yay.
for participating. And some of you knit some gorgeous, gorgeous sweaters. So I'm in awe about some of the sweater patterns, just the techniques and the detail and everything. So
Awesome.
thank you for participating. And if you're looking for things to knit and you're bored knitting, knit for the babies.
For the babies.
The baby. Do it for the babies.
So, and I know before one of the congressmen put forward a bill so that they would stop arresting pro-life activists
Awesome. I didn't see
who
that.
weren't being violent. I mean, if they're being
Well,
violent,
yeah.
well then
They
should be. But
you hurt somebody,
So-
you deserve to be, consequences. But if you're just standing outside of a clinic praying on public property, no.
exactly.
You had a pro-life clinic, you decide to raid the store next door. It's like, but I'm pro-life. Like, shut up.
Yeah. So congratulations. The packages will be out soon. I'm just waiting for 1 or 2 more things that I ordered for part of the prizes because I went a little crazy. And you may be getting yarn too because, everybody's got stash and all. Plus, there were some nice people who donated yarn. Tina donated some of her American Grit colorway. So that will be
I donated
going. And
stoppers, so you'll probably get, when you cash in, you get your stopper gift card.
yeah. Yeah. I got that coupon too. So,
Which if you need more, let me know. I'm here for you.
okay. So it was really hard because so many people participated. So thank you so much. And I don't know. I know we're going to do our baby knit along, and I'm pretty sure the Knit Long and Prosper ended for Ann and DK, I think.
Yeah, wasn't it the first?
Yeah, and there's 1 more month of the Cabot Cove Murder Knits, Murder She Wrote.
Yes.
So,
and there's the Mardi
and
Gras.
the Mardi. Yep, I got some party beads today.
And then Mandy's Makings, she's not necessarily one of us, but she's a really cool lady, and she's neutral and cool, and money from her sales of her yarn goes to stop sex trafficking. And she's Louisiana girl. She's doing a thick socks make along.
Ooh.
So like DK weight sock.
Man, ordered fingering. Oh well, maybe I'll have to get more
Because you probably don't at all have any DK
I have
weight.
no DK white, no.
None at all whatsoever.
And-
Oh, that's
and
so
it's-
terrible.
And I have some that's from Chicken Lady that actually has nylon in it. I mean, I'll
So
have
my
to
point,
use
my
that.
point was
'cause-
you can dip yourself in all my make-alongs. I don't care. You can double, triple. You can swing whatever little way your heart desires. And
Yeah,
my
I was
make-along.
really hoping somebody would go all in and double dip on ours and Ann's and DK and do a Star Trek sweater. But that didn't happen this time, so maybe another time.
That would be cool.
That would. But, so, yeah. So thank you guys for participating, and we appreciate it. And I promise
I'm
next time,
impressed.
I promise next time there will not be that long a hashtag because I was yelled at. So we will change that.
Because as soon as you said adult sweater, I was like, peace out, y'all.
Neil, what do we have to look forward to for Block?
the
Anything
winner-
new and exciting?
Yeah, the winner of the cowl design will be in the next issue.
Oh, nice.
I'm not going to announce who that is yet because we don't know yet. It's not because there's still a little bit of time that someone could throw in a last minute entry. So, what else have we got coming up? Issue 19, I think it is, will be out probably maybe 1st of March. I think it will be at the moment. And
I do
I think
still
so.
technically have some calendars. Neil,
oh
if
yes,
you wanna,
we forgot about those. Yeah.
like,
What's
you
the
guys
deal with
need to
that?
give 'em
Shall we
away.
do? Yeah, we're going to do a giveaway of some calendars. So, what shall we do? How should we do it, Amy?
well, if you do it a comment on YouTube, they have to do it after the live because it won't count. Like YouTube doesn't necessarily save the live comments. So this is Liz's show, so whatever she wants.
You guys work it out amongst you and just tell me what to do.
I've got
Should
Okay,
should there be a
Amy.
question? Should there be
So-
like a little question that they have to answer? Like, how many months was it predicted to
Yeah.
survive? How about that?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
How many months was the magazine predicted to the blocked magazine predicted to?
And I think I gave the answer away at the beginning, so you might have to rewind and listen at the beginning.
I mean,
So-
I've heard many things about how long it was supposed to last. So.
I'm sure there were.
I'm
many that
not
were
gonna
saying, not
say,
even the
but I'm
first one will get out. Probably, I'm sure there was
I'm
comments
gonna-
like that.
gonna not say specifically what it is, but it was not very long.
No, it's not very long.
How many entries do you have for the cow so far, Neil?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but it's I don't know, somewhere around 5, I think 5 or 6. We didn't. Get a
Oh,
huge
good,
amount.
because
They had to
Because
knit
mine's-
it too, right? Not just make the design.
Yeah, they've got to make it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, because
That's
mine
why-
I didn't make it. Sorry,
Yeah, I had an idea, and then I was like, "Yeah, I gotta make it too."
I
No.
did. I had an idea, but I'm saving it for your June issue for your
Ah.
hoist your colors. It's perfect for that. So
Oh,
You've all got Morgan's number. You could have all rang her up and said, "Come on, Morgan, we need you to knit this for me."
It's true. We haven't seen her much lately because she's probably too busy test knitting for everybody.
hey, she just knit a hat for me, and I didn't want to bug her again for a while. So
I think she's avoiding me like the plague.
yeah, and then I couldn't, and then I couldn't. I have to rethink what I'm going to make my charity hat because it was a fine pattern name for the hurricanes, but I really don't think it's appropriate pattern to be using for the wildfires, considering it was called Fire on the Mountain. So I've got to rethink what I'm going to do for my charity hat this year. So I'll be working on that.
Maybe fan kindness or something like that.
Yeah, I just don't think that's the right pattern name to use.
Fan kindness or fire on the mountain.
Fire on the Mountain.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted
So-
clarification because they gave you one. You're like, no, and I was like, wow, that
No,
was quick.
no, it just has to be. I have to come up with a pattern. So- That was one of my patterns that one of my first patterns, and since it was in Tina's yarn, and the yarn was in honor of Charlie Daniels, who was from North Carolina, who did a lot of charity work. I thought that would be perfect for hurricane charities. And then and then the wildfires, and I said, well, I can do it for the wildfires too. But then I thought, oh no, I can't do it with that name. So, and it's been out there like 4 years, so I can't go back and change the name on it. So
Yeah.
I'll have to come up with a new pattern. And Elle's Antique Valentine cow pattern is free on Ravelry through Saturday. And it's very
Oh.
lovely cow pattern. I have
Elle's
it.
delightful. Elle brought me cake.
I have not seen that
Ooh.
pattern. I'll have to go look.
If you did not know, I am easily bribable.
Obviously.
Cake or bacon?
Okay, no, it doesn't matter. Like somebody brought me cookies at one point. I was like, "You need me to bury a body? I'll do it. Like, what can I do for you?"
How about
What's
lack
on
of
your
water?
shirt,
Yeah.
Caro? Tell us
Oh,
about your shirt.
Check out my
Yeah.
logo, guys, for my podcast. Look at it. Look at my tits.
Just eat bacon. I'm very
Mhm.
excited.
Yeah, we're gonna do the pilot test on the 15th and see how we like it. My co-host is like, I've never hosted a podcast before. It's like, I know, it's gonna be okay. He's like, well, are we gonna have a script? Am I gonna read from it? I was like, no, that defeats the podcast. Like, you have to be casual. Like, we're gonna discuss
Bacon.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Like, here's the memo of the topic. Bacon.
Yeah. Well, because he wants to obviously talk about like some current events and how it relates to bacon. So we're gonna call it like the social sizzle, right?
Hey,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. So
oh, you know what you should do?
What
You
should I
have,
do?
Like, you should have like a current price of bacon. Like as we escalate along Trump's presidency. In your state,
Brilliant.
how
I'm
much
sending
does
it to
bacon
him right
cost
now.
on this day? And then like track.
Carol, evidently you're a on each dessert first kind of person. I get that.
That's so nice of you to say. Thank you.
I mean, you could drop dead and you didn't eat the cake, you know? So, not that she
Exactly.
would drop dead. I'm just saying life, not Carol. I'm saying good life.
Cake is
Life.
made to be eaten. If you didn't eat it, it might not get
Yes.
eaten.
Exactly.
And then somebody went to the trouble of making cake and people don't eat it, and that's just sad.
Exactly. All cake
So.
matters.
If somebody comes over and they gift you cake, you better fucking eat it. Unless it's from a drug dealer, then be like, "Nah, man, I'm good. I'm good."
Like, what's in the middle of it?
Watching my figure, you know.
Which random cake story? So, I went and got coffee last week because once a week I go to get our local coffee shop, not like Starbucks, and to get my bougie coffee that I splurge on. And the guy that works there, I don't even know how we talked about it, but German chocolate cake came up. And he was like, I never hear anybody make German chocolate. I never see it anymore. Like all the time growing up, all our grandmas made German chocolate cake. And like nobody makes it anymore. And that got me thinking, like, I legit don't ever see it in the store. Like, pre-made cakes, little bug cakes and this and that. I hardly ever see German chocolate cake. Is that just me or?
My store will do it every once in a while, but it's been like years.
Are we not allowed to have the German chocolate cake anymore? I mean,
German cake that was made by a German. So, I mean, I guess that's cheating.
My mom used to make it, despite the fact that I'm allergic to pecans. Yay, mom! But
why
so
was
I
there
did not eat
pecans in
that
it? I thought
cake.
there's coconut in it.
Coconut and pecans
Oh,
Yeah.
We don't have that.
and the
here.
icing. So yeah, so I'd eat the cake part, but not the icing part.
They just don't want us
Um,
to be happy. Give us German cake, guys. German chocolate cake.
Hang on. So on this cake, there's pecan nuts, there's coconut, and there's icing.
Pecan.
Sorry,
No one calls them pecan nuts.
I really
Pecan.
like
They call
that
them
you call them that.
pecans. They call them pecans or pecans, but they don't call them pecan nuts.
I like it.
Here, they're
Pecans.
pecans.
I'm laughing because that's what we call it in our house.
I
We
think
call-
it's cute.
What,
That's like
pecans?
tater tots will forever be potato croquettes now. They will not be
I
tater
know.
tots.
Yes. Now
Neil's all
we've
dungy with his potato tots. It's like a German
And then
chocolate.
you're going to
is it
start calling what is
What?
it? Zucchini, courgettes. That's what you need to start calling them.
Oh, that's too fancy. Now you get too fancy.
All right, he's
Is-
into it. He's
Is
into the
German
bacon
chocolate cake?
things.
It's not a bundt cake, is it? It's a regular cake. shape,
no.
isn't
It's
it?
It's a layered cake.
Yeah.
You do the cake and then you put the icing, and then you put cake, and then you put more of the icing all around it.
Man, I should ask
Yeah,
my
I mean-
coworker to make more.
with like the
Yeah, just so I can send you a
with
picture.
coconut. It's got a lot
There
of
you go.
coconut in it. I didn't like the coconut, so I didn't really care for it that much.
Well, I took my mom used to make German chocolate pie too, which she did more than the cake, and I took that recipe and adapted it to chocolate mint pie. So there's
Ooh,
no
that sounds
coconut
good.
and no pecans, just mint.
That
chocolate
That
and-
sounds way better.
It's
I think
like
it's-
fudgy.
I think Denise's mother-in-law used to make, because Denise's mother-in-law was actually German, so she used to make it. But I'm not. I wasn't a fan. And my mom was German. Well, she wasn't German, but she had German parents. So she used to make it and like it, but I didn't care. I don't like coconut.
I like all cake. If you got cake, I will probably eat it.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
You have to, because since I'm gluten free, I can't eat most of the cake. So you do it for me, Caro. Do it for
Oh
me.
man, how terrible! I'm so sorry for you. Just great. It's
But you've
okay.
got to
Just
eat the
put it in my
bacon
hand.
for her as well. You
I
can
But
know
have
there's
the
a
you gotta
bacon
eat
to
and
be-
the cake.
the pork bacon for me.
You eat the
I'll
cake.
eat that
You
too.
eat the bacon for dinner, and then you eat the cake
Yeah.
for dessert.
I know. Oh my goodness.
What else do you not eat, Amy?
Happiness.
I don't eat any of the seafood that we're famous for down here.
Oh yeah, seafood.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for that though.
I don't eat some of the fish, which I'm not a big fish person anyway. So even if that wasn't like a religious thing, I'm very picky about fish. Like if there's a little bone, nah. Just like oogies me out. I can't.
I too do not like bony fish.
I like salmon and like grouper and some of them, but some of them, especially the actual like Gulf caught ones, man, they are just bones everywhere, and I'm like, "Bleh, gross, nasty. And then there's
You mean the Gulf? You mean the Gulf of
Gulf of
America?
America, the Gulf of America caught fish. And then there's some stuff I like. I don't. There's just things I don't care for. Like I don't like coconut. I don't like cilantro. It tastes like soap. And but other than that, I'm not super picky. That's just wrong. Amy. I know. I'm sorry. It's hard to
No.
keep kosher in Louisiana. Okay.
Mama Nevin, it's fine. It means more shellfish for the rest of us.
Mm.
It's okay.
That's like
Well,
the whole
yeah,
joke of like when people come down here, I'm like, I'll take you everywhere and show you where everything is, but I'm not going to eat any of it.
Well, we were saying, dietary restrictions because of religion. I worked with a girl who was Orthodox Jewish, and one of our workers asked her if she celebrated Thanksgiving, and she's like, "I'm still American. I'm just Jewish." Like it's Thanksgiving's not a religious holiday. I hate
We
to tell
don't
you.
have ham on it, but
But she just looked at the girl like, "Is she serious?" And she was like dead serious, like, and she's like, "Well, I'm still American." Just thought it was funny. So, oh yeah, I got these adorable stitch markers from Tina as well, little mushrooms and stuff.
Oh yeah, she put some cute ones out, some Valentine.
She did.
Ones.
She did. I'm excited to get my stitch stoppers too.
They still haven't got there.
Unless they came today,
Man.
because I haven't gotten today's mail. My mail's been late though. Like stuff
Well,
that my son was supposed to get days ago just started showing up. So
I think the snow like totally screwed stuff up because we were a week
No.
behind.
No, what happened is the people that they partnered with for the local area, they went their separate ways and it fucked up their entire system. How do I know? Because they lost $7,000 of my merchandise and I found out that was why.
Oh my.
oh my.
Yeah. So no,
Well-
they did like a split, and in doing the split, they didn't understand like how that was gonna fiddle with everything, and they figured it out. That was actually why I couldn't find my yarn because it's actually 2 weeks late because they lost it.
Wow.
I had one from Etsy, and this one don't know who to blame because I've ordered for the same address from Etsy for 6 years, and I ordered from a place that I'd ordered from before that I've successfully gotten mail from them, and it got returned to them saying wrong address.
That's a
And it's
distribution
just-
center. I
yeah,
know a lot
it's
about this. I'm happy to help.
Yeah. She emailed me. She's like, I don't understand. This is the same address I sent it to last time. I'm like,
That's
yes,
crazy.
it's the same address I get mail from every day, just not from you, I guess now. So
That's
yeah,
why I'm
it took me.
impressed that only one Block Calendar magazine didn't get.
Oh yeah, there was only one, wasn't there? That was pretty good
That's-
going though. That I think.
There
That
was one that
is-
was like I think really late, and I don't know if her daughter got it. I haven't heard any more that she didn't, so I'm assuming it made it. So
I have a
Poor
calendar
Annie only just
suggestion.
got hers the other day.
I know, and then she had to turn the month from herself.
yeah.
I would suggest that if you're doing the magazine again, start selling it earlier. Pre-selling it
we
earlier.
will.
Yeah, it's already in
Because-
the plans.
I can help with that. I know a lot about like pre-orders and getting stuff out in a timely manner.
Everybody heard Caro just
Yes.
volunteer
I did just
to
offer.
do the calendar next
No,
year.
I think that
I-
volunteer.
I offered to help with the logistics.
No,
That's what I
no.
offered.
It was the whole calendar. You are
The
now
whole
the
Because
boss of the
you
calendar.
want me to do the calendar? I don't
My
think you want me to do
logistics-
your thing.
My logistics last year were, hey Neil, I used this thing for my stitch shoppers. You want me to use it? Sure, that sounds great. How are you gonna get paid? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
As
it
long
was
as the
great.
money's out of my account by the end of the year, I don't really care, Neil, how we do it.
The key is to tell everybody before you actually need the pictures.
Yeah. Well,
It's like
we
the
did- that's
relatives
already
you
taken
have
care
that-
of.
You know, the relatives who always come late, you tell them 2 hours before you really want them there.
Yeah.
So then when they show up on time, it's
At least
So
we have
you have
that
what-
part. We have that
Yeah.
part, underway. So
I'm also really good at nagging people, being like, "Hey, this thing that you're supposed to do was due yesterday." It's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just behind." I was like, "Cool, do it right now."
our goal is to do something more print on demand,
Mm. Do you know what service you're
It's
gonna go
ready.
with?
Just good.
Well, BS
No.
Designs has been doing all that, hasn't she? Because I think she
Mhm.
uses a printer. But I think I'm going to have to put Caro in touch with BS Designs because I think that could be the start of a beautiful relationship that will help me with my magazine. I'm determined to get Caro in on it.
Yes, it will not hurt my feelings if I am out of the money equation.
Oh no! I think we should keep that arranged. That was
don't worry. I'm sure he'll find another reason for you to make a spreadsheet for him for some other thing. So it's all good.
Actually, you've just reminded me. I need to do a what's it called? A form thing. Because I'm going to be doing interviews of the readers now going forward. So we've had interviews like we've interviewed you two guys, haven't we? So now it's going to be people that we don't necessarily know. Some of them we will, but not all of them.
Cool.
So I need to get a form filled out and do it.
Aren't we glad we're done with that, Amy?
Yes, very much so. Especially the cross stitch part.
Yeah.
You loved it. Come on, be honest.
I missed having a chin.
Yeah. And as adorable as it is,
Just grow a beard, and then it hides anything to do with
Dude,
it.
do you know how much I would love to be able to do that? Like, there's a friend of mine at church and my friend's husband, and he's really tall, but he has the weak chin too. So do y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You're fine.
Okay. It stopped? Okay. And so he has like the weaker chin. I mean, it sounds mean to say weak chin, but he doesn't have the super strong, So I have not seen him without facial hair in 25 years. I don't know what it looks like without.
Well, 20 years ago, I did have a chin. So, but whether I have one now, I don't know. So I'd have to sort of feel what's under there.
I love watching those videos of like dads that have beards and then they go shave it and the baby.
The kids. Oh, yeah.
The baby starts to
Freak
cry.
Traumatized for life, aren't they?
I thought the cross stitch designs were very cool. Someday they will be stitched. Yeah,
They
someday.
were cool.
It just feels weird wanting to stitch yourself, I mean,
Well, I don't cross stitch, but when you stitch me, please give me a chin. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, I think I told you though, didn't I? If I gave you a chin, you would suddenly decay.
I don't care.
I'm surprised Denise hasn't made you guys.
She doesn't want to stitch herself either.
So
You
you're
did get
saying
the
we need
eyes. You got the eyes right. The way I cut my eyes at her. You got that.
the side eye?
Yeah.
It was fun though. I mean, it was fun because
It
the
was-
answers were about what I thought they would be from Joe and Therese.
Yeah.
But with Joe, you never know. So she'll be on Friday, and she'll have a whole month's worth of stuff to talk
I
about.
know.
So
Do the Joe show.
I'm very excited to see her because I miss her.
I know. I haven't talked to her in
I
a
have
while.
have no idea what she's been working on, so that will be exciting.
I wasn't
I don't
ready
know.
the first time I met Joe because she was like, "I have questions for you," and I was like, "What's happening?" And she just interrogated me for 30 minutes.
That's Joe.
Yeah, that's just Joe.
That's how she gets to know you. And
One of our first video chit chats that we privately did, Joe took us around her town and told everybody we were her drunk American friends. I'm like,
you and me, we were the drunk ones, remember? Thanks, Joe.
Not wrong, but
We were drinking, yeah.
I
But it
think
was funny because
Therese was
Yeah.
drinking too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
you
but
don't
it was
usually
so
drink.
cute. I do sometimes.
Sometimes, but not professionally like me and Therese.
But the thing was, she was stopping and talking to people, like, and
Random
introducing us through her camera to
And
random
we're
people.
like,
Oh, and this
hey,
is so and so who works in this store. These are just my girls, the drunk American ones.
this is my drunk American girls. We're like, what the hell, Joe?
But we saw her whole town, and it was adorable. And then Amy took us on a tour, and we got to go through the drive-through daiquiri
Yeah.
I'm
because
into
some
that.
people didn't believe that it was actually a thing.
I'm
See,
into
now
that.
I have a dash cam, so I actually need to do that. I need to go do that and do a little actual.
I was
Real
thinking that as
drive-through.
well. Where would you like to see here? Don't say London. I'm not driving to London.
Yeah, you don't want to go there anyway.
Take us
I
to a
think you're
British
cool.
yarn store.
Your cool,
To where?
curvy, weird roads that you're so scared to drive on. Those are cool.
I was going to say he could take us to a British yarn store.
Oh,
That'd
I
be
could
cool.
take you to Black
be cool.
Sheep Yarns, or whatever they're called, Black Sheep Wool. That's a brilliant yarn store.
Have I told you when I lived there, like every time my American family would come over to England to like visit us, they would always be like, "We want to go to London." I was like, "Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna go to London. You're not gonna like it, and it's gonna
Get
take us 6
expensive.
hours. It's gonna take us
Yeah.
6 hours to get there for you to realize that you don't like it. Now I could take you to Stonehenge, and you can actually go over there and touch the stones. I can make that happen for you, right? That's way more memorable than going to a cloudy, polluted city where people are like jostling you around. No, we want to go and we want to see Buckingham Palace. I'm like, oh, you freaking
It's the
we
most
wanna-
unimpressive palace in the world.
Yeah, there's nothing
All right.
there. Yeah, and then like I think the only time we made it worthwhile is that we took them on a tour over at the tower, right? But even then, they're like, "Don't touch anything." It's like like I could have just walked through with a camera instead. Same thing.
Yeah, London, if you ever come to the UK, don't
Go to
stay in
London.
London, whatever
Yeah.
you do.
Okay. That's okay. I just stopped
That's
my
fine.
tablet from updating again, and that would have kicked us off.
Oh.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it just popped up update about ready to start. I'm like, no. Let's stop that right now.
Yeah. Anyway, summary of all of that is Neil and I are in agreement. Don't go to London. Go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Go
I've
to
noticed
Peterborough. Go
in,
to Canterbury. Go to
all those
Canterbury.
books,
Go
all the
anywhere that
books-
isn't a big city.
No, don't go
the
to Canterbury
English
then.
authors that I've been reading, they're all like the characters that she makes. Because a lot of times there is a couple books that they've been in London, and I don't know if she's just making crap up about the names of the parts of London, you know,
No.
but they're very like either they really like London and they're hoity-toity like fancy apartment people, or they absolutely hate London and they want to be in the countryside.
That's always how it
That's the
is,
two
isn't
characters.
it?
That's pretty
yeah.
much it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get the people in the country. They're like, I can't wait to go to the city. It's like you're gonna be back because you're gonna realize
there
you
was,
can't
like,
walk
one-
everywhere barefoot.
One girl and like their sisters or something or siblings, and then like the house is in the one sister's house in the countryside and the other one's in London, and so the one in London comes to visit the one in the countryside, and she's like talking about the nice little cottage with the flower thing outside the window and the pretty flowers, and she comments like, oh, those would be stolen in 5 minutes in London. And like, I was like, okay, so it's country versus city. I got it. Okay. I get it.
Yeah, it's one of them places. I bet it's the same like New York or even New
Well-
Orleans, wherever. But you know, the pavement or sidewalk, as you would call it, is
Yeah.
harder than anywhere else in the country. You know, it hurts your feet more than anywhere else
Well-
for some bizarre reason.
Well, it's like New
The thing
Orleans. If y'all
is-
come here, I'll take you. I'm like, if you want to go to Vegas, Liz will probably take you to the sites. We don't want to,
Oh yeah.
but we'll take
I don't
you
like it,
because
but
you want to.
Well, New York City, there's so much to see in its small areas that you can see a lot without having to go over the whole city. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you come, you have to go to the Natural History Museum and the Met and places like that, St. Patrick's Cathedral. Just because they're so prevalent. And there's places to avoid, like
Right.
Harlem,
Everywhere.
and the Bronx. But I like going into this. I miss going into the city because I don't live there anymore. But we used to go in there and watch plays, or we'd go to the library or to the museums, and
Right.
it was worth it for that. I mean, Vegas, I could take you to the Strip. You could go gamble, or you could watch other people
But isn't
gamble.
it funny
or-
though? So when I do come over to America eventually, what I will probably want to do is sit somewhere and knit. You know
You
what I
can do
mean?
that.
That's the funny thing, because that's what I do. You know, I've kind
Yeah.
of so I
You
think
can
that,
do
you know,
that.
the thought of having to go and see all the sites would be like,
Yeah.
oh, God,
No,
I'm gonna
I
go
mean-
where? How far?
Well, that is
No,
like
I
the
mean-
fun part about New Orleans, like because at least in New Orleans, the part everybody thinks of is the French Quarter, and it's actually relatively compared to Vegas and Chicago and New York and stuff, and it's a fairly small. You can easily walk it in a day and see what you need to see, you know. But you can also sit in the middle of the square, being cognizant of your surroundings, and knit, you know.
Yeah.
So,
And
so
there's
you can
places
knit,
in
and I can
Vegas
watch
too you
people.
can do that. Yeah.
In New Orleans, I'd want to sit on a veranda with some iced tea or whatever it is, lemonade, whatever it is you people drink.
Mint iced tea
Every
or
My
mint
knitting.
or mint juleps.
No, Neil. We alcohol. Okay. We
Oh,
can
okay.
alcohol.
Set him up with a couple hurricanes and he'll be fine.
Man, this morning I was just scrolling through social media or whatever, and it was a New Orleans page that and I don't even know what the news channel was. It was somewhere far, like another area. And you know, the Super Bowl is the Sunday here. And so there's this reporter lady, and it's literally 5 o'clock in the morning that this video is getting taken. And this guy is got his Eagles gear on, and he's got a bag of beignets from Cafe Du Monde. He's got a hand grenade drink, which is extremely only the tourists drink it. It's like a bright neon green, ugly thing in this giant cup. And it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, and he is 30 sheets to the wind, and he's making friends with everybody that walks by. And the news reporter's trying to talk to him, like, okay, clearly you're from Philadelphia. Like, you know, what do you got plans this week, you know, for the game, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there thinking, this dude's about to drop 20 grand because the tickets alone, you know, to the Super Bowl are sometimes up to $10,000. So if this dude's here for a week, and it's 5 a.m. on a Monday morning, and he's already spent out all night drinking. This dude's going home broke.
He probably didn't sober up the entire time.
So he was like drunk as a skunk at 5 o'clock, and I was like, dude, it's gonna be a long week for some people. Y'all are not pacing yourselves well. This is not amateur hour, okay?
Oh, Emily wants to go where they filmed Midsummer Murders. Do you know? I have no idea where they filmed that. I could find out.
I would
And the
like to
town
go to.
that started was 500 and somehow stayed 500, even though 3 people a week died.
Sorry, say that again.
Well,
Wait,
well,
what?
I thought it was different little towns in that county.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I thought it was one town. I've never watched it. I don't like
I've never
it.
watched it, so I don't know what you're
Oh, I
Well,
watched
when I
it.
say I don't like it, I've watched one and I didn't like it.
I
have
watched
to go
it.
to where Poldark was filmed, and Neil's like, it's all the way down there.
Isn't that in Cornwall? Isn't that where
Yeah.
Poldark is?
Yeah,
But
well,
it's
it could be
pretty.
Devon. It could be Devon or Cornwall, but
Well,
all
they
around
said
there, I would
Cornwall,
definitely
and
recommend it if you
I
come
mean,
to the
they
UK.
called it Cornwall in the show. I don't know where they really filmed it,
Ah,
but in the
yeah.
show they called it Cornwall.
You
But
must go if you come to the UK because it is probably the most beautiful part of the country.
and
It's-
Although
first
there
time
are
I-
some shitholes there.
First
You
time
know,
I
you
told
have
him
to-
that, he's like, dude, that's like 5 hours away.
I would like to go to Oxford so I can see where Inspector Lewis was all the times, and I would like to go to the countryside just because
Yeah.
it's pretty.
I want to see that. Yeah. Like, I
My
would
dad
love
loved
to-
Ireland. He and my stepmom went
I
to
would love to go to
England and Ireland for their honeymoon, and he loved Ireland for the greenery.
The
And
countryside's just green and wet often.
But it's so pretty.
Is it?
they like seeing all the castles and stuff.
All I have is water here, dude. Like,
Oh, Sherry, I've been to the town where Doc Martin was filmed, and you can go right up to where his so you know the GP surgery or whatever you call it is.
oh.
It's a really, really nice place. But
Like-
if you go on Boxing Day when we went, you'll probably get a shock because they black themselves up. They do blackface and they do a
Yeah.
whole thing, but it's proper old sort of pagan stuff. It's kind of reminds you of the Wicker Man, except in Cornwall, not in Scotland.
Oh. Yeah, I want to see like countryside. Like, you got to realize that we're in suburbia. Liz is where it's sand and dust. I'm surrounded by water, like, which is cool and pretty, but I don't mountains and hills and things like that. I haven't seen a lot of that.
We don't get many mountains here apart from up in Scotland.
Well, like the cliff
Yeah,
isn't
loads of
like
hills.
the cliffs, you know,
Cliffs
that's
of
where,
Dover.
Oh, at Dover.
Yeah, like-
yeah. But that's the only place where those particular cliffs are, the chalk
Yeah.
cliffs.
like I'd love to go to like Israel and stuff like that too, but that's not gonna
My
happen anytime soon.
My son loved Israel. He he wants to go back so bad. He said the people and the food were just amazing. And they had a local tour guide who took them to a bunch of places they probably weren't supposed to go. And he said, if anybody asks, your college students,
Yeah.
they were all in high school. I'm like, okay. But they had so much fun, and he loved the food, and the people were just generous, he said. And they got to meet some Bedouins and negotiate with them, which was, the Bedouins knew what they were doing. These were high school kids. But they made him feel like they got good deals on their trinkets. So, and he went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and got me a blessed cross and stuff.
Yeah, just replied to Sherry. I have no idea where Beatrix Potter's country estate is. If you quickly go on the internet and find out and tell me where it is, I'll be able to tell you where it is.
I would like to go see where Tolkien's grave is.
Oh, you'd have to tell again. I don't know where that is. I know where Karl Marx's grave is, but I wouldn't recommend going to that.
They charge for that.
Of course they do.
He's just, Mr. Socialism. They charge money to go to his grave because that totally makes sense.
Socialism by not taking money.
But they charge everyone equally. That's the thing.
Well, okay, yeah, fair, but
But not everybody gets the same out of it, do they?
No.
Yes, I see a lot of the non-fascists are leaving Instagram again.
Oh, I saw what's she called? Patty Lyons.
Oh, is she leaving too?
Yeah, well, she's already on Blue Sky, I think it is, and she did a whole thing about the right wing people on X Twitter, and you just think, oh, you bonkers woman, she just the stuff they're talking about over, because I did join it because I just saw.
I was going to ask, did you join it for research purposes?
For research, absolutely, yeah. And the funny thing is, I'm not going to say which person, but one of the people is following me and doesn't even know it.
Right, because I'm sure you're smart enough to make it very nondescript, totally not obvious,
But they were all at the beginning. They were all so desperate to have followers over there. They were just following everybody, so they would follow them.
I know. They were telling them, oh, this is where you can go to find like-minded crafters, and and I love how they call out business. What do they call it? Craft. Important people in the craft community. How come they're not going? That's showing their true colors.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe they don't want to be political.
Maybe
the whole black
the witch hunts again.
Make
they're
a living
doing that.
Maybe enough of them lost business after the whole black square thing that they decided getting political was not something that they want to do with their business accounts.
Well, what they're doing again is going through people's accounts, wherever they have, either Facebook or Twitter or whatever, Blue Sky, whatever, and they're looking to see if they're following anybody like Elon Musk or obviously Donald Trump, but also anybody that's ever said anything pro-Trump.
Did you see?
Oh, well.
Have you seen any of the videos of people are like, Instagram is making me follow Donald Trump. I did not sign up to follow Donald Trump and JD Vance. It's like, no, dumbass. You were following the president of the United States and the VP, and it changed people. No. It's still the same handle, stupid. You can unfollow.
Okay. Lake District.
That's one of the places I want to go because it looks so pretty in Pride and Prejudice.
It's really, really nice there. That isn't that far from me, actually. It's about 2 hours north of here.
Yeah,
so it's an overnight stay.
I
the
just
virtue
love the fact
signaling.
That y'all can just get in the car and drive to another country. That's just what just trips me out.
Well, I think the problem is here. I keep saying it is you'd have to drive here to understand how how difficult it is to get anywhere in this country.
Right.
It's not as easy as it is in America.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of picture when I went to Tennessee and you were up on the mountain. You had to come down this curvy, it wasn't so much how many miles you were from stuff. It was how many minutes you are from stuff. Because the mountain road, goes
have you ever been to San Francisco where they've got, is it Lombardy Road or
Lombard Street?
Yeah. Lombard Street. Well, imagine that everywhere. And then you kind of know what it's like
Y'all
driving.
Don't have interstates or freeways or highways.
Well, we have motorways. We have motorways. And
but not as everywhere as we do.
No.
We have well, we have, north, south pretty much, right up to Scotland, right down to London, say. We
Not
do have
like
a good,
us.
reasonably good motorway network, but it's getting onto the motorway that's the problem.
Right.
Because
That's what I'm
sometimes
saying.
it can,
I am literally a mile from the interstate, which will take me directly into New Orleans in 20 minutes.
right,
Yeah, I'm
You know,
Yeah.
about that. I'm about a
Or-
mile to get on the
or
interstate
I
to go
could
straight to
take,
Vegas.
back ways and whatever. We still got to cross bridges no matter which way we go. But, or I could take back ways that take longer. I could drive the back way to Denise's house and take 10 minutes to get to her house, or I could take the interstate and take 5.
Yeah,
That's
depends
how
on
it's everywhere.
depends on people and traffic.
Right. Well, yeah, that too.
So, yeah.
I still want to do it one day. I don't know the amount of alcohol and
What
Valium it'll
I
take to get my
don't
husband on a
understand-
plane, but
about your interstate system is when they say east or west, everything's east or west, isn't it? Or you know what I mean? So you
or north
go
or south.
east on the, and it's like, well, how do you know which way that is? Do you know what I mean?
No.
When you're
what?
driving, you don't know which way you're necessarily pointing, do you?
No,
Well, I
we
wouldn't
always
when I
know.
was in.
Wait, do you mean minus the sun, or do you mean like identification marks on the road?
Okay, you're in a foreign country.
Okay.
Okay, so remember that. I'm in LA in a
All right.
foreign country. I wasn't driving, but I was in the car, and the direction was to go east. Well, how did we know where east was? Because there was nothing to point east, rather than saying where you wanted to go. So, like here, it would be London, and then you follow the sign for London, or you
Well,
would follow.
usually on
Do
the
you understand what I
interstates
mean?
here, they'll say what direction you're going on it,
Right.
and when if you want to get off on this exit to go east this way or west that way or onto another road. Usually the signs will tell you.
Yeah, there's okay, like it's a little simpler in big other places. Like here, okay, one of my best ever getting lost stories is that because I did not
Oh,
grow up
here
in
you
New
go.
Orleans.
Mom and Evan and
Yes,
Emily
that
both
is
put it
true.
out there.
But I don't remember that. I
Yeah.
never remember that still to this day. But in New Orleans is made around a curving river. So while the rest of the world, or not the world, the country, interstates north, south, east, west, your interstates in New Orleans might be going east, but you might have to go south under to get to the
Okay.
direction you're trying to go.
Yeah.
So, but they're all labeled. But like I remember, so I made fun of you, but I am also a culprit of the fact that like I'm not good directionally. So one time I was like super lost in the city, like super, super lost. And I was like 19. Okay. I didn't know where the hell I was going. And this is before like I didn't have a GPS. And I knew I needed to go. Mom and Evan will get this. I needed to go uptown. And I was in City Park area. And I somehow managed to end up almost on the West Bank. So she will now cackle and laugh at me for that. And I had to call my friend and I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. I have to be at this appointment. It's in uptown. And he's like, okay, which way are you going? I'm like, I don't know. It says I-10 this and I-10 this and da 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 da. And he's like, okay, well, you going east or west? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, which way is the sun? Is it in front of you or behind you? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm upset and I'm scared and I don't know where I'm going. Because you can very easily make a wrong turn and suddenly be in the hood and die.
Did you not
So
have a map?
I had a map, but I'm driving on an extremely
It's hard to use the
busy
map while you're
interstate
driving.
that, with a cell phone that's like, push H 3 times to get the number.
Yeah.
She is cackling. See, I knew she would have been.
Yeah.
So
When I moved here, I had something like that happen.
So normally, if I want to get on the interstate and I want to go north to go visit Tara, I'm going to get on I-55 north. And it's clearly, it's an, as she said, an uneven number, so it's going north and south. If I'm going to go visit Carrie, I'm going to get on I-10 west, going towards Texas, because Texas is west of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there are like, anytime you come up on any interchange or whatever, and then however many miles on this side of the interstate, there's a little thing that says what road you're on, what mile marker you're on, and do y'all not have like the big not big interstates, but the signs over your roads? So like if it says exit south whatever here, it also tells
Usually
you the
involves
road
a
you're on.
roundabout.
It doesn't often say south. You'll say north and south, but it very rarely says east or west.
Well, to be
So-
fair, y'all don't have a whole lot of room to go east or west.
That's true.
No,
You
when-
generally speaking only go up and down.
I mean, there'll be somebody watching now from here saying, "Yes, it does. There's such a
not
roundabout
as
in such
much.
and such a
Okay.
place." I'm sure there are some
Yeah.
places.
like if I
There's
got in my
where-
car and tried to drive to Liz, it would take me days and days and days.
when I
You
moved
know.
here,
So
when I first came here, some of the freeways were other roads that the freeways were paved over and made bigger. And when I was going to look at apartments, my husband said, "Okay, you need to go west on I-95." And I didn't, I'm like, okay. And I get on I'm like calling him up, like I-95 goes north and south. It does not go west. How? But it actually technically does go west because that it's not straight west,
It's not straight,
north or
yeah.
south. It's north. And but he
Right.
knew it from before it had become the freeway, and when it was old Tonopah Road, which was. And I'm like, how can I go west when the road says north or south?
that's
Okay, what is a freeway and why is it called a freeway? So obviously,
Because you
an
don't have there's
interstate
no
goes
tolls.
between states.
There's no tolls.
That's not a southern word, so I don't know.
Freeway, highway, freeway. There's no tolls. Highways. I don't think there's tolls on highways either. Is there?
Highways are generally not the interstate.
Yeah.
So a freeway could be an interstate.
Yes.
It's just a phrase. They're not actually like.
Oh,
well, no.
okay.
Sometimes they are actually labeled freeways.
Yeah. I think it's just. Let me look
Taro
at the
seems
difference
to know
between
random
them.
knowledge. Why is it called a freeway?
Because it doesn't have tolls. It's free.
Right, but neither
That,
do
that's
highways.
that's why it was supposed to be. But that's
So
So
I
why
think
is it a
I think-
highway? Are they high?
they're usually like over all the other roads, right?
Or
really?
parallel.
Okay, a
Yeah.
freeway. A freeway is a specific type of highway that is designed for high-speed traffic with controlled access. Meaning there's no
Yes.
traffic signals or a lot of
Right,
stop
right.
and start. While a highway can be any major road that connects cities, which may include traffic signals and intersections. All freeways are highways, but not all highways are freeways.
All rocks
Lefty
have minerals, but
Crochet
not all minerals
says
are rocks.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
Highways, they're usually 1 to 2 lanes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So your freeway is what we would call a motorway, and your highway is what we would call a dual carriageway.
Yes.
And then you don't
Hello,
have
Liz
interstates,
Knitz.
basically.
No,
Sorry,
because
Amy,
they don't
say that again.
have.
You
They don't have
see,
interstates.
The interstate is the interstate because it connects the states. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
don't have a roadway that literally connects country to country to country.
Just Scotland, England, and Scotland, but it wouldn't be.
Because that's why the interstate system is the interstate system, is because it was taking too long for everybody to get everywhere. So we made these big roads that go up and down across. You can get anywhere in America on these.
Thanks,
this
Roman
system.
Empire, for that.
Yeah, that and
Roman
that
Empire.
and a president who wanted place where planes could land if we were ever invaded.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why they're so wide.
Oh.
And then when I
Roman-
went to visit Carrie in Texas, I learned about a whole other road called FMs. And I was like, what is the FM road? I had no idea what that road meant. And it
Free
means
market?
farm to market.
Oh, farm market. That's right.
Who?
Back in the day, before they built the interstates and the highways, that was the road that the farmers took to the
Farmers would
market.
take. Yeah,
Oh,
And I was like,
okay.
we don't have those. Cool.
yeah, and the U.S. East and West interstates end in 0, north and south end in 5.
This is
like
getting
95.
like a maths class now. This
Yeah.
is getting really complicated.
It's a
Yeah.
road that you can drive on. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
With lots of lanes. So
Right.
Who's going to
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
drive
I
a
mean, there are
car in
multiple-
America?
I
Who's
think-
going to
No,
risk it?
no, you are
That
not
is,
allowed
I
to
think the other
drive.
main thing, because Neil and Annie took us, or one of y'all, either both y'all or Annie took us on a little video of what it was
I
like.
think
to
it was
drive
Annie.
wherever.
No,
And
it's
y'all
me,
don't
wasn't it?
have
Oh, no,
y'all
we've
don't have
both done it. We've
multiple-
both done it.
lanes. Like we have, if I get on the interstate and I go to New Orleans, it is a 4-lane interstate.
Was it the one with the tractor when I drove up to the tractor?
I think so.
You bought- yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was me.
So I
Yeah.
understand that you don't have you don't have as much road, and then you can't go as fast, and it's curvy, and you fly off a
Um,
cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just go off into the water everywhere we go.
Or you could drive across the channel, can't you, to France?
No,
That
what
would
you have
be
to do, you
cool.
drive onto a train. And then
Oh,
the
and the
train
train goes?
through
Oh.
the tunnel. So you can't actually drive through.
Oh, you can't actually drive it?
No, I think
Well,
you can
see-
stay in your car, but you can't
See-
drive. So you can
see-
pretend you're driving.
If you had Elon take care of that, he'd make it so you could just drive through.
Do you know I've never been through it? Never been through the tunnel.
Really? That
Yeah.
sounds scary.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Eh,
Yeah.
I always get nervous driving along in those tunnels that are underwater.
Yeah. We don't. I mean, we
Like
only have
the-
one nearby.
The
and it's really
Washington
short,
and the
so.
Washington Tunnel and the Lincoln Tunnel in New York. Those always freaked me out because one time we got stopped because there was an accident. And you don't think about it when you're moving, but when you
Right.
stop moving and you're stuck there, you're like, oh my God, we're underneath the Hudson River.
All this water. Yeah, I know. There's only one around that I know of, and that goes under Mobile Bay Bridge to go to Florida, and it's a game that everybody plays here that you hold your breath through the tunnel. You know, like you're not on vacation until you pass through the Mobile Bay Tunnel, and then I heard they're gonna take it down. They're gonna build over it. I'm like, what? Why? Like it's worked all this time.
Weird. I forgot I had a finished object.
Ooh.
I finished my
While you
long
you-
sweater.
Make yourself big.
Make yourself big.
When you're done being big, I wanted to address a comment somebody sent me.
Okay, cool.
And it's not a duster link because I ran out of yarn.
Oh no.
Very nice.
But-
Very cute.
But it was from Stash, so
Good job.
So it's free.
Make sure
Yeah.
you put it on your Chicken Lady 25.
I know I
25.
need once I block it, I'll take a picture of it. But I couldn't block it today because we were podcasting and I didn't have a place to spread it out because I use this bed that I sit on for
So
blocking.
don't
So I'll block
forget,
it
if you want
tomorrow.
to finish your stashes and enter the prizes, that's Chicken Lady's other make along. You're 25 and 25.
Yeah, that's right. Her 25 and 25. So this will be my third finish this year. So, the
All right,
Virginia
Caro,
Beach
teach
one,
us.
Emily. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That's
All
not
right, I'm going to
fun.
address my comment now. Sorry. Sherry was
Please.
telling me that her sister lives near Houston and that driving is an absolute nightmare. Houston has,
Oh,
from what
that's
I've heard,
awful.
like the worst traffic, followed by
that is
here in
awful.
Dallas. And then San Antonio was like, nah, not you. And so now they want to keep up with the terrible traffic. I don't know why this is a thing that we want to be known for.
y'all do. Y'all have like
Yeah.
the best traffic.
And
Yeah.
then the one thing about Texas roads is that they're always under construction. They're never,
Yes.
it
Oh
never
my
stops.
God.
It never stops. You think that it's done, it's okay. We're gonna just do it again in the spring.
I totally underestimated the amount of insane drivers, and B, the amount of construction when we went, because when we went for our holy days and we were going to New Braunfels, which is like 30 minutes south of San Antonio. So we had to go through Houston. And the time that we left in such a time that it wasn't going to be drive time through Houston. So, but our other friends had left a few hours before us. So they apparently, their GPS, because of Houston being Houston, it took them on all these side toll roads to avoid going through Houston just because it knew they were going to be in Houston at drive time. That was that was scary. And I know that's nothing compared to people driving like Los Angeles and stuff like that, but that thing was like 6 lanes wide. There's like a parallel road that runs alongside it. And then you could get off on all these little exits. And then there's this toll thing that extra people can drive on because they have a thing in their car. And these people literally drove 90 miles an hour, just standard, like just normal. Like everybody drove 90 miles an hour. And at one point we hit one of the gazillion construct, and there's not like a lot of exits. Like here, there's exits everywhere. Like you can get off, you gotta pee, there's an exit. Y'all must have some bladders in Texas, because let me tell you, there are not exits, like a lot of them. And at one point we ended up in some construction, and we're stuck. We're just sitting there. This dude comes flying by on the shoulder, going like 70 miles an hour on the shoulder. And I'm like, that only happens at home if they like rob something and somebody's chasing them. Like he was just trying to get to the next exit.
No, that guy was an asshole. That's a
It's just
total
like,
asshole move.
That's how you die. Like if I'd have opened my door because my kid had to pee, like he would have killed
Yeah.
himself.
Just real quick, because Emily asked, does Chicken Lady want photos? Because she said she's writing in the blocks. I thought she
No, you
wanted
don't have
photos.
to. You don't have
Oh,
to.
you
put
don't have to?
photos.
Oh, you mean I learned how to make sticker photos and I didn't have to?
No, I just wanted to be bougie and learn how to do the sticker
Oh.
photos.
Oh, I
Neil
thought
kept
we
talking
had to.
about.
Everybody
Neil's like,
is
look, you can make
so,
stickers with your phone. I'm like, what are you talking about?
yeah. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to be bougie and learn how to do that. Other people are
Okay.
writing it. You can print it and write on it. She doesn't care. She doesn't care for
Okay.
her make along.
Yeah. Roads in Las Vegas are constantly being worked on. They never
Yeah,
get
I mean,
finished.
but that's crazy, and there's a whole lot of Texas in Texas. Like for
It's 'cause
proportion
it's a-
proportion purposes, Neil, it took me 8 hours to get from where I am on the east side of Louisiana to get to the very east side of Texas, and it took me 8 hours to get to that point. And your entire United Kingdom can fit inside Texas. So
Yeah, no, you could. I
Oh,
literally,
yeah.
it took me a day and a half to
Spicy.
drive through Texas just to get to Florida. But most of the reason why they keep doing road construction is because a lot of the soil here has clay in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that's the big reason why they have to come back and do repair. So
yeah, because it sinks.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, Raleigh and Charlotte are really bad too, Lori. Mom and Evans, I don't have an iPhone, so I do one on a Samsung. Amy, do you know how to do stickers on an iPhone?
I do now, and I can, and because
Can
Cassie
you can you help Mom and Evan with that at some point?
You just press and hold, and then
yeah, well, it depends on what iPhone you have.
oh, okay.
So if it is an older model, then no, it won't do it. So I think you have to have at least a 14, 15, 16.
Man, we do it all here. We talk about knitting, politics. We do tech support. Man, we got you. We
So
got
basically,
you.
if I took a picture of my sock, you would hold your finger on the picture, and it'll kind of like do this highlight thing where it looks like it's glowed for a second, and you have to copy it, and then you have to save it, and then you can go put it where you need to put it. But not every iPhone does that, so it depends on
The
your.
tricky
Oh,
bit is
yeah.
finding it once you've created it.
Yeah, Sherry,
like,
Where the hell is it? Yeah.
Sherry, when I lived in New Jersey, we had the sinkhole, pothole / where cars disappeared a lot.
Oh, I'm used to that. That part didn't bother me. But the whole 90 miles an hour, just as a given, I was like, because I kept being like, we're going to get a ticket. We're going to get a ticket. Like, slow down. We're going to get a ticket. No, everyone is flying down, including the cops.
Yeah, when I first got here from Florida, like, going 60 is really fast for Floridians, at least in most parts. I know there's
Right.
some other
Right.
places out there. So when I first moved out here and I learned and I was getting used to Texas driving, I was in the slow lane. And even in the slow lane, I was going
Yes.
too slow. And that was
No.
going the speed limit. And
That's why there's so many Buc-ee's, because they have to get gas all the time.
yeah.
Oh, I
And
want to go to one of those. I need to go to one of those.
oh, you're gonna
That
love
we will
Buc-ee's.
do.
Man, let me tell you, like, if the zombie apocalypse happens and you're like, where do I go? You run to a fucking Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
Okay,
Go to
you run to the Buc-ee's. We got food, we got secure bathrooms, best bathrooms ever. We've got
Best
camping
bathrooms
equipment.
ever.
Yeah, and you've got like open land all around you. So you're gonna see those
Yep.
zombies come for you. And I bet they've got like some rifles or stuff in the background that they're not openly selling, but they definitely have fishing lines. And I think
Yeah.
last time I went somewhere, they had like a bow and arrow. Now the fishing line thing confuses me because
Camping
there's no fucking
stuff
water
and
here. I have no
food.
water, no lakes, no nothing.
Tent supplies, camping supplies,
it all.
fishing stuff. I'm
Zombies
telling you.
come, go to the Buc-ee's.
Food.
Yep.
When,
We're getting one. We're getting one on the I-10.
Oh, nice. When we had
But
our
not-
snowstorm
not
that
going-
came in. Oh, sorry, go on.
And so it's probably like, I don't know, 30 minutes, but it's on the way to like some of the coastal Mississippi towns. So I'm kind of tempted. I'm like, would it be weird if we just go to Buc-ee's just to go to Buc-ee's?
No, people just go.
You should just go.
Like, Denise, you want to go to Gulfport and go shopping? By the way, we're going to stop at Buc-ee's.
When we had the snowstorm that hit Texas, where we actually had snow, which was so funny because like my boss was like, "No, we're gonna keep working through the snow." I was like, "Summer child, they're gonna go out and play in the snow. That's what they're gonna do." But one of the things that was funny is that I had sent a recording of the snow falling to one of my military friends. And I was like, "Well, they told me if the power goes out, I'll still have like power at like Taco Bell and Buc-ee's, so I should be good." He's like, "You got a Buc-ee's? I'm coming over." And I was like, "You're in Florida." He's like, "Don't worry, I'll be right there."
Hey, you can always tell how bad the weather is going to be by basing what happens at the Waffle House.
Mm-hmm.
If the Waffle
will
House
say-
closes, you're doomed.
In our Louisiana snow, the Waffle House stayed open, but they posted that they had a limited menu and they were primarily only serving first responders.
That's fair enough. Because they weren't
Now
getting
it's
any
gone, do you miss
delivery.
it?
What, Neil?
Now that the snow has gone, do you miss it?
Well, I miss it also, namely because I was off for like 4 days. That was great, but it was
We
really
did it-
pretty. But like the last day when it was just kind of there, it was
Yeah.
icky. Like it wasn't.
We did enjoy your joy in your pictures because you were having so much fun with it.
It was totally not just me. Like literally everybody. Like you could still go to the grocery store and be like, "Y'all had fun in that snow? Yeah, man, I had a great time in the snow. What you did? You been a snowman?" Like it's still like this whole bonding thing we all went through. It was like,
That's because you're not used to it.
no.
hey, if there was snow here like that, people would probably be the same.
Oh gosh, I know.
But the
Shauna was
likelihood of that,
posting- Shauna had like a itty bitty snow up in
I know,
Lost, Oregon.
it's crazy.
Because they have the same
So-
problem that they're like coastal, so they're not going to get a ton either. So
They're quite north, though, aren't they? Oregon, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think she's like literally on the coast.
Yeah,
Ah,
So-
okay.
yeah. So Neil, on your blanket, how many stitches do you have on the needle? You have the whole circle on the needle?
Yes and no. So when you're doing, let me turn it around. When you're doing the solid colours, you're working all of the stitches. But when you're doing these bits,
Oh, that's rows, short rows.
you've
Oh,
just got
it-
like 8 or 10 stitches.
Okay, so it's like a 10-stitch blanket for that section.
Kind of, yeah.
Uh,
Okay. So that's
and you're
not too
doing
bad.
the short rows as you're going along.
Oh.
Or the
'Cause are you gonna
really
have-
easy, the easiest short rows ever because you don't do
Oh.
anything, you just turn. You don't.
Are you
cool.
going to have enough cable length to do it as it gets bigger?
I think so because I won't be able to see what it looks like when I'm
No, you have
doing
to
the
squish
solid.
it
Well,
up,
no,
yeah.
yeah, I'll have to squish it up. Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you do these bits, though, by the time you get to the end, you kind of you're off the needles completely. By
Right.
the time you've done all of this,
Right.
Okay.
because then you have to graft it together, just those sort of 10 stitches or whatever it is. But I absolutely love knitting this. I don't know why, but it's just
It's got enough math and interest in it for you.
yeah.
And you really want to use that yarn that you bought that you weren't
Yeah.
going to ever use. So
It's one of the
Makes
I've
you
had
feel
it in a
good.
jar in the living room, and every time I walk in and out of the living room, I just catch it in the corner of my eye, and I think it's kind of been like, why did you buy this? You know, because when you add it all up, it's because there's 12 of them all together. So what? I don't know, 120 quid or something. No, it'd be more than that,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? 200 and something quid.
you'll get Vegas is fairly easy to navigate. It's just the sheer number of people.
Where's DFW?
Dallas,
Dallas,
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. That's where I am.
Yeah.
And
Ah.
you know,
Oh,
I'm
so
gonna
you're
be
Dallas. Ooh,
yeah, yeah,
cowboy country.
yeah. It's full of Germans that are dressed as
Texas.
cowboys.
Yeah, like when I went to Texas, Neil, Carrie still had to drive like 3 hours to get to me to visit me.
Right. Wow.
So I'm just saying, Neil, if we end up in the United Kingdom somewhere, your butt's getting in a car because I flew across the flipping ocean. Okay.
Yeah, but so if you're in the next city, it might take 3 hours just to get to the next city.
Look, you got to plan ahead. If I got in a plane and flew across the Atlantic,
Just don't go to London. I am not driving into London. You can book.
Oh, I don't really want to go to London, but because I told my husband we have a feast site in Ireland and Italy, and he refused to get on a plane. Like I can't even get him to fly across America, so that's not going to happen. So I'm like, maybe one day.
Where in Ireland is it? Is it
Um,
Dublin or is it in the north?
No, it's not far from Dublin. They don't pick the major cities because
Right.
major cities, crime, isn't that? It's not. It's close enough to Dublin where you can go and visit it, but it's not right in Dublin. And
Right.
the Italy one is Cortana, Italy, which is supposed to be
No
really
idea
cool.
where that is.
I have no idea.
Katana. How did you say it? Spell it.
Cortana, Cortana, Cortana.
I'm sorry. Every time I hear that, I think of
No.
Halo.
I know
They say
Catania.
Cortana. I'm sure I'm
don't
saying
know
it
Cor-
wrong, but
Cortina.
Cortana.
No, I don't know it. I don't know that one. Not that I should.
Sorry.
I'm not Italian,
I mean-
but
Italy's a lot, longer and bigger than, but
But
Right.
Dublin is quite reasonable to fly to at certain points of the year.
yeah,
Well,
I think they
Manchester
fly
as
into
well.
Dublin and then they drive to
Yeah.
wherever,
So if you did go to Dublin, I would try and come. I would definitely have to stay over the night though. If I'm coming to Dublin,
I would
Dublin's
like
a
to go
great
to
city.
Dublin.
yeah. Oh, it's a great
I would
place
love to go to Ireland. That's probably going to be one of those things that I'm just going to be like, look, babe, I saved my money. You stay home. I'm going, because he's not going to get on a plane.
And you're not going to understand a word anyone is saying though. So you just
Well,
have to
Dublin
accept
has a
it.
whole bunch of Americans calling home, being like, "I'm in Dublin." It's like, okay, like there's other things to do.
There's more Irish people in New York, isn't there, than in the whole of Ireland?
Hmm
Yeah.
Probably. I would like to go to County Cork because that's where my relatives were from, just to say that I was there. My dad went when he and my stepmom they went to County Cork.
That's
and
right in the
were his
south, isn't
relatives.
it, Cork? I think.
I think so.
Yeah, it's quite far.
See, Liz gets me. She's singing the Halo theme. And I don't even play the video games, but my husband and son have played them for years. And I know all about Cortana and Master Chief and probably
So
more than I
where's-
need to know.
So where's the one in the UK, Amy? Is there a?
I
Is
don't.
that-
Oh, I don't know if there's one in UK this year.
Okay.
I mean, there is a church like congregation in UK. I'm not sure where they are. Because the sites change every year. They're not always the exact same spot.
Right.
Kind
Okay.
of depends on availability, and we have like some core sites that are always the same because everybody always wants to go to the beach. So there's always a beach one. There's always,
Is this that
um,
thing that you do where you go for a week? Is it?
yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So they put Italy and Ireland like up for registration because it's such a small venue. They have to like not everybody
Know
can go,
who's gonna-
So it's like a lottery system kind of thing. You
Right.
got to get picked. So I think there is a United Kingdom site, or there used to be. I can't remember now. I have to look up and see what it is.
Yeah.
there
And I'll
are
tell you whether
French
it's
sites.
worth it.
There are French
might be.
sites. There are, because we have ministers who are English speaking and French speaking, and this not, and we have they're all over the world, literally.
Oh,
So-
Liz, I would love to do that.
Now I gotta
Oh,
Google where it
Rome,
is.
yeah.
Let's see. What would Liz
I'd love to go to Rome.
Ooh, that would
Just
be
for the
cool.
cats. Just for the cats.
Just
at
for
the
the-
Colosseum.
I'd go for the food. Are you kidding? And the art. So I think I'd rather go to Florence for the art. But
Let me turn my
if someone
camera
were
off
if
so you're
someone
not
were
watching
sending me, I would go wherever.
Mhm.
I'm not picky. So
Yeah, I've never been to Rome. I've been to Milan and I've been to the island, and I forgot what the island's called. What's it called? The island at the bottom of
Venice,
no,
Venice, Sicily.
Sicily. Yeah, I've been to Sicily. Couldn't think of the word for it. I do like Italy, but it's kind of quite rough now. A lot of the big towns are, a bit scary.
That's happening in a lot of places. A lot of towns are
Yeah.
getting.
Europe is pretty scary all over now, I think.
Well, it's not just Europe.
Yeah.
There's some scary places here.
Did you hear about Sweden? The Prime Minister of Sweden has finally admitted that they've lost control of, the
Yeah, I
crisis
saw
of
that.
all the migration. Like, wow.
Go to Malta and see the Popeye movie set.
Oh, I've been and I've seen it. Yeah. When I went, I was very young, so we went. I think it was 1983, and we weren't allowed to go down to it, but we were out. We were allowed to look down into it. If you know what I mean. I think it's a little bit too rickety. I don't think you can walk on it. Maybe now. I don't know. I like.
I don't
Malta.
know.
It's quite a cool little place. You can drive
Yeah,
around the whole island, in a day.
Yeah, I've heard that the food there is amazing too.
I can't remember what the food was like.
Yeah, and I suggested, since you and Tabitha, since according to Tabitha, you're going to teach her how to spin. And when you're
She doesn't realize that I don't know how to spin. So
I told her that she could teach you how to make baked beans.
what, like from scratch?
Yeah, normal baked
Rather
beans.
than opening a tin and just putting it in a pan.
That's how I make them. I couldn't find it, Neil. I don't think we have a United Kingdom one this year. I think that with Ireland and Italy, that's two,
Oh,
United
well,
in that area.
Vancouver is supposed to be nice too. My husband's been there a lot, but I've never been to Vancouver. I would like to go whale watching though,
I like Vancouver.
off of Vancouver.
Vancouver reminded me of Sydney in Australia. There's kind of the same kind of vibe to it. Yeah.
I would like to
I would-
travel more, but
I would love to
that's-
travel more, but
And if you go to
It's
Vancouver
expensive.
Island, it's more English than England is. So they've got like red phone boxes, red double-decker buses, all the stuff that you don't see in the UK anymore.
Well, they're just a little behind. That's all.
where's the Doctor Who stuff? Is that in London?
Well, it depends what you want to see. What do
Isn't
you
there
want
like
to see?
a Doctor Who like not museum, but like I guess museum?
Well, if you want to see Daleks and the TARDIS, that's where I live, in Salford.
Oh.
Yeah.
There
They
you
have
go.
police
They moved to
boxes as
BBC.
well.
Sorry, what's that, Caro?
So they have police boxes still in a bunch of places as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some dude that I've seen on Instagram that he finds all the hidden Doctor Who things, and I think he
Oh, yeah.
lives either by you or in Cardiff.
Cardiff,
Maybe.
I know they did a lot of Doctor Who stuff there
Yeah.
for a while.
That
I
was
don't
where-
know if they still do.
I think there was Torchwood. The one that where Torchwood
was Cardiff.
Yeah.
That was. I think all of that was Cardiff.
Yeah. I just want to see stuff. I'm just, you know. Heck, there's a whole lot of America I want to see, you know. So I've only
Oh,
been
I know.
to, like, I've never been further west than Denver. So
You need to come see me, and then Tabitha will come
know.
down, and we'll hang out. And
See, that's why
Fezzi will
when
come
Neil-
down,
when
and
Neil gets
and
over
Shauna.
here, we have to plan Neil's trip far more than we plan the calendar because we're gonna have to like
yeah, I have no
bring the big
idea how I'm
mat,
going to do this.
like push
I
pins.
got the shooting part taken care of.
Oh, okay.
We'll take you shooting here because we got lots of different guns you can try. You'll
'Cause, you
love
know,
it.
Visiting me has temperature ranges on it, so you know you got to schedule
Yeah.
me. You know,
Yeah, you don't
Right.
want to come here in summer. You
right,
don't want to come. You don't want to come in summer to visit me or Amy.
right. So
I'm just saying because you won't. Well, you can come in summer. It's just you're not going to want to leave a
Well, it's
building.
gonna
To
suck.
avoid
and we're gonna
the
stink.
summer, the tornadoes, the earthquakes, the
The hurricanes.
tsunamis. What else have I got to avoid? The snow.
The fires, the hurricanes.
So basically, there's like maybe one day a year that is okay.
Yeah,
to visit.
basically, we need to figure
See?
out the least dangerous times for each region and then plan accordingly.
Yeah, Mama Neva said she'll come to Vegas too. So see, there you go. And then you don't have to go to California,
Yeah, I don't want to.
and
go
that's
there.
a good thing.
Sorry,
Nobody
sorry,
wants to
Mama
go there.
Nevin, I do
When
not
my
wanna go
husband
back.
when my husband was a commercial truck driver, he hated going to California because he would
Mhm.
have to drive to the ports down past LA, and absolutely hated it. He'd much rather drive to Canada in the snow in the winter when it's 20 below than drive to LA. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Just
I would
you
like
know,
to do. I mean, I know it sounds daft when I say, "Oh, I don't drive anywhere more than 2 hours," but I would like to do a cross-American car journey. But
well,
I've watched too many bloody horror films where they do that, and then they end up in the middle of nowhere. And there's
Well-
like the garage, the gas station with the weirdo in there, and then you
well,
end up getting eaten by somebody. So
Well, you plan
Just-
accordingly.
just remember the car rides. The distances are farther, but our speeds tend to be faster.
Yeah. And you got to
Ah.
drive on the correct
So-
side of the road, Don't forget
Yeah.
and then drive on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah. First time my dad went to London, he rented a car and had issues with that, and then he decided from then
See,
on he wasn't going to
What
drive.
you should do is to make things more cost
What?
efficient is you fly into, DK's area because that's the easiest way for you to get in. And then you convince us in different regions to be your car travel buddy.
ah,
And then
No.
like you
We
drive
have
to whatever.
trains. We do still have
Trains,
trains out
yeah.
here. Yeah.
But so then it's like you don't have to drive, say, from Louisiana to Texas or whatever, then you convince me to do it. And then we get to meet up in Texas. Then I go back home and the next person takes the leg of the journey.
well, DK
Yeah.
gave me a really good tip, but I don't know whether it'll work because she said rather than say flying into New York, she said fly into Canada because it's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
cheaper.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is.
know whether I'm allowed in Canada, you see, again. So
That's
You've
true.
got bad thing.
I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
Didn't she say
Okay.
fly into Canada and just walk across the border?
Well, she's like right there, so she could pick you
I
up.
know.
yeah, just swim over that lake, whatever that lake's called.
Right. Or then you could just fly into
Niagara
Michigan and
Falls, that little lake you
Never
have.
mind that fall. Get a little inner tube, just a little ride. It'd be all right.
Yeah, find a barrel. Isn't that what you go over that in?
Yeah, backwoods roads to Pennsylvania, or they have Bigfoot.
Yeah, I've
Coral
seen
Bigfoot.
Deliverance and The Hills Have Eyes, and I just know there's going to be some inbred family somewhere that is going to kill
Neil,
me. And eat.
you're not going to go far enough in the swamp to have to deal with
No.
Deliverance. I'm just
No.
telling you right now. That's not going to happen
Unless you really want it to happen.
I mean,
unless you want it to happen. In which
we're not
case,
judging
What if
you
you-
you're
unless
on
you
your own.
want.
In which case, Amy's ditching you and going back home. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop you from living your best horror life. You seem really keen on these outcomes. We can help. We can.
he does.
I can't play
we can-
guitar, so I can't do the dueling banjo thing. So it's no.
He'll get his- wait, let me put it on my phone. Hold on.
Mikey's in Florida now, so he loves horror movies. So
Oh, that's true. He would definitely take him on a horror movie trip.
Mikey Harlow could
Oh,
take
he
you
got
on a
out of
floor.
New York, did he? Because he wasn't.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Right.
He's in Florida now. See, because New York has DK and Tina and other people in that whole region, and then you come down. I think you should come down and then go back up. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of, not like right through the middle. You got to kind of, what I'm saying? Trace the outline. Because let's be real. No offense,
Coastal
Nebraska.
route.
What's he looking at, Nebraska? I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I'm just
Take him
asking.
to a
You know?
haunted plantation. Mama Nevin says.
Oh,
Hey, we have the
that
haunted
sounds
tours
fun.
here. We have
We
the
do have a
murder
lot of
tour.
those.
We have the murder tours here too. The
Well, if
dead-
in London, I used to take people on the Jack the Ripper tour. That was. quite fun.
That's one of the reasons I would love to go to London was to go to the Jack the Ripper tour.
Yeah, that is quite good actually.
I'll take
That's
him
like
to I'll take him to Jean Lafitte's blacksmith bar where the
Ooh,
pirates
nice.
all hung out.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
You'd
saying.
laugh at some of the things that I would probably want to do. I would like to go to a outdoor cinema. Where you sit in your car.
That's not
Small
here.
drive-thru.
I ain't got-
We
got that
have
for
one
you.
here. We still have one here.
How do you hear what's going on though?
They
You
have
get
like a radio.
speakers.
little speaker.
Yeah.
Or on the
Is it a
radio.
bit underwhelming?
No, now the ones they do, you put your radio in your car at a certain frequency,
Oh yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and they play it through that.
That's for where they have nice weather. That's not here.
Yeah.
But all of
Hey.
our festivals and concerts are outdoors, so I don't know how to explain that. So,
Yeah. One of the coolest places that we went to out here was one of Howard Hughes's old homes,
Oh,
which is not in Vegas. It's out far in a little town a few miles away. But it was very cool because it's still got that 1940s, 50s decoration and stuff. It's never been renovated. It's because they made it a museum.
cool.
So it was very unexpectedly cool.
the other thing I want to do, but obviously I'd have to be in the right city. I'd have to be in New Jersey, is it? I want to do the Sopranos Drive.
Oh yeah.
And I actually want to
pirate
go
would
to
like
that
that.
house as well.
Oh,
Whoever lives there.
hey Tina, you need the sleep. You've been busy, so we totally get it. But if you do watch back, I showed off some of the yarn that you sent me and the stitch markers.
And I'm almost done with king cake.
Yay!
I just
I
did the
love the
last
pooling
stitch.
on that. That is so cool.
The last stitch.
So, but yeah, you got to plan your knitting journey, Neil.
Yeah.
What would you bring to knit? Or would you just
Well-
plan to buy yarn and needles here and just,
I
wing
think
it?
I would probably do that. I would bring something just for the plane journey that I wouldn't be upset if they confiscated, because I don't know.
Yeah, you
what
definitely need to
can
know
take.
like what local yarn stores,
Yeah, I mean, depends
know?
where I go first. I would probably get something ordered to whoever I visit first, and then it'll be there for me. Or maybe I need to go and see Chicken Lady first and stop her. Or
that actually
Tina.
would be really cool. You could make,
Tina,
like,
actually, she'd be the close. She'd
go
be
to
the first.
Tina's, get Tina's yarn, and go to get Lynn's, then go hit up Mystery Mouse. Isn't she in Texas? I think she's in Texas.
Oh, where is? I don't know where Mystery Mouse is.
No, is she in Texas?
Tennessee, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong.
Tennessee. Oh, maybe Tennessee. But wherever all our yarn tires are, you just need to like stop there.
Now I got to look up where she's at.
I thought she was in Texas.
And hopefully
Maybe
it'll
she is
be
in
the
Texas. I could be wrong.
anniversary
Oh, she's
year.
Colorado.
Oh, Colorado.
She's Colorado.
There's
that's
another
same
dye in
as
Texas.
Chicken Lady, isn't it?
Yeah, Chicken Lady's in
Yeah.
Colorado. Who's the other
Yeah.
dyer in Texas then that I was thinking of?
Um,
And then Carista's in Wyoming. You can get the
That's
whole
right.
northern.
welcome to the port of New York, says Tina. Don't make eye contact with anybody. That is
Oh,
absolutely 100%
That's like
true.
London.
That's
I
also
can-
true
I
in New
can do that.
Orleans.
Do
Yeah,
not
that's
wear
also-
any visible jewelry or
That is
anything
also true in New
expensive.
Orleans. Yep.
Don't carry.
If you come to
Um,
London at the moment, do not have a mobile phone in your hand. There's
Yeah.
whole gangs of kids on bikes that are just stealing
Yeah.
things out of people's
Yeah.
hands.
See, so you can
If you-
handle the crime here. So.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think I could. Apart from the guns.
And Neil,
because
you could have a
I'm
knife
thinking that.
here. You could hold a knife here.
Wow, I could have a gun there probably.
We'll take him to a
Well,
gun store
not
and a knife
not
store.
concealed, not concealed, but depending on where you live. But you could definitely have a knife.
And if it's your jam, you can smoke pot a lot of places too.
That's true. It is legal here.
Might be good for my knees. I might have to get some of the cream stuff. What you get?
Yeah,
for knees
There's
there.
places in Vegas where there's so many pot places you can just smell them
Yeah,
Wow.
everywhere.
outside.
Well, that's
I
a bit
can't
like
stand the
here,
smell.
but illegal.
I hate.
I mean,
the
that's
smell.
like my
Yeah.
block of flats. If you go out on
Yeah.
the landing, it smells like.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the stores. There's one that we always laugh at when we drive past because it's right next to a Denny's, and we joke what came first, the pot store or the
Or
Denny's.
the Denny's. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of
Yes.
them here.
Speaking of local things, if anybody saw, and if Mom and Evan is still listening, they did this atrocious thing to Jackson Square for the Super Bowl, and it's supposed to be like this whole artsy, like really cool art display. And I'm like as far from Catholic as you can get, you know, as Jew adjacent. I am not at all Catholic, but even I am absolutely appalled at what they did to the cathedral. So they took because the Jackson Square, like the picture everybody thinks of, the horse thing you're looking at is the cathedral, and then
Mhm.
there's two historic buildings next to it. So they took the two historic building and the cathedral, and they have projected lights onto it. So it's this light art dance thing. So it's obviously at night. So instead of looking at the cathedral all lit up and pretty like it normally is, you're looking at like hip hop dance in neon colors on the front of the cathedral. And I'm not Catholic at all, like, but I have been in the cathedral. It is beautiful. I can admit that it's beautiful. It burns a little when I walk in, but I'm just saying that, you know, my people are like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to be in here." But
I
to
used
take
to say that too.
to
when I went
take
to the
the
Mormon church.
beautiful, I mean, the cathedral is like this beautiful thing of architecture, and to take this gorgeous historic New Orleans piece of architecture, and just because Super Bowl is in town, we're projecting these freaking not even Mardi Gras, Disney
almost-
World light projections on it.
Yeah, right before Lent. That really makes
See
sense.
if you can
know?
find the picture of it, Liz, but it is just disgusting. It is disgusting.
Um,
And I'm sure people are like, it's cool, it's edgy, it's artistic, it's Super Bowl, whatever. It looks horrible. Horrible.
so where is it?
Where's
Jackson Square?
Nituational? Where's
Yeah,
Nituational
cathedral.
based?
Huh?
Nituational says there's two drive-ins up in the mountains, and it's gorgeous. So I want to know where that is.
Could be anywhere. It could be the Rocky Mountains, the Smoky Mountains. The Smoky Mountains are beautiful. I love the Smoky Mountains. My dream is to live in Tennessee.
Oh, I watched a really good TV. Well,
Every night this week, there's an
What was
Sorry.
American Primeval. I really enjoyed it. Did you? Any of you watch it?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, cowboy and Indian type thing, whatever the PC way of saying that is.
What was it on?
Oh, I don't know. It was on Netflix for me. I don't know.
Oh,
If it'd be
yeah.
the same.
Netflix, yeah. I saw it, but I didn't watch it. So I don't know if Mom and Evan's still in the chat, but they have defaced the cathedral with.
Yeah, she's replied. She said that sounds awful.
And I would imagine.
So
as
is
a
Mum and
Catholic-
Evan from round your part then? Is she from?
Yeah,
she's
she's
in
from where
California
she's
now,
from-
isn't she?
She's literally from where I live. Like she
Ah,
is from where I live now. Yeah, I mean, what I would imagine as a Catholic, you'd be kind of like, excuse me, that's like the cathedral, you know?
I wanna talk to the priest of that cathedral and be
oh,
like,
I see. Yeah, I see what you mean there.
Okay, you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little bit
Yeah.
gaudy, isn't it?
And it's like a light flash show. Like,
It's
so there's
like
music.
If Stephen
lights.
West designed that
Yes.
cathedral.
It's all neon. But I mean, the cathedral itself is this
What?
beautiful. Yeah,
I
they project it.
don't understand how the bishop would have been okay with that.
Oh,
Like-
they're probably
Money?
just desperate to get people in the
Well,
door, aren't they? You
The
know.
Money?
Archbishop's a little busy right now.
Well,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
he been up to?
Yeah.
Has he-
you laugh and say that like I know what you're talking about.
Let's just say, what does the church
What's the
usually
Catholic
have
Church
trouble with?
Oh, okay.
in trouble for it? Yeah, they just dropped a big old story about New Orleans and how much the New Orleans Saints and Pelicans ownership was covering up the Catholic Church sex scandal, including
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw something mentioned on Telegram and I didn't understand.
Yes.
Now I get it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
because
I
the
hate
owner of the Saints is a
Yeah.
devout, strict Catholic, and she basically helped cover up some stuff right before the Super Bowl. Good timing.
Hmm.
Yeah, they did that intentionally.
They did absolutely. Yeah, the
I think
investigative
you
reporter
learned
guy.
by now, wouldn't you? And maybe
Yeah,
they
dude, that
wouldn't do it anymore.
investigative reporter, he was sitting on that. He was like, "Oh, you just wait. We're gonna release it at just the right time."
He probably was going to release it earlier, but then the terrorist attack thing happened,
Yeah,
and then
probably.
so they thought, "Oh, I know. We'll wait till right before the Super Bowl."
I need to ask you, what's going on with your planes? What is happening? There's been how many?
Too many.
Too many.
Oh, one of them is because an army base wasn't talking to the other airfield, which is a reoccurring issue that they always had up at that point. And for some reason, one of the pilots, they don't want to release the demographic information, but they did it for everyone else. So I'm very curious about what
They did. They did
Oh, they finally
release
did?
it.
When
Yeah,
did
it was a female pilot who they didn't release her information until they scrubbed all of hers and her family's social media. And her other job, she was a Biden White House aide.
Yeah.
Oh, so she shouldn't have been in the plane. Okay.
Probably not.
Was she suicided?
No,
don't know.
I think she was incompetent, and it had a consequence.
She had the
That's
least amount of
good.
hours compared to the other two.
Which is absolutely wild because I know for people that actually have to fly, like the requirements just for them to sit in the aircraft like starts at 500 hours. Right?
She had 450.
Yeah, it starts at 500. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah, and that's just
Well-
There's a dog. Doggy.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
my boy. Hey, buddy.
Yay.
Hey,
So-
boy.
Yeah, I hear you, Mom and Evan. It
But
was
they-
definitely.
Yeah,
Good
her
to see
family asked them not to release her name, and then all of her family's social media was scrubbed before her name was released. Now,
Weird.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
how can we not be suspicious though? Because you
Be
can't trust
suspicious.
anybody anymore. You can't trust anybody in government or military or anything anymore because
Yeah.
they lie so much that
If it's on the news, it's a lie. If it's not on
Yeah.
the news, it's a lie. You just can't trust
Yeah, I
anyone.
mean,
that's
I
why
did.
that's why my car travel plan for Neil works great because then we don't have to get on the plane.
That's true.
He
Well,
has to
except
get
for
on the
getting
plane,
here, he has to get on a plane, but we don't have to get on a plane.
but then we just pick him up from stop to stop.
There you
Be
go.
like
Just pass
the
car to
great-
car.
You
The
just
great
want to
knitting-
make me be in a car for more than
great
2 hours at
knitting
a time,
hitch-
don't you? That's what you want.
Nittler goes hitchhiking. That's the new
Oh, God.
podcast.
That could be scary.
Stand on state, be at the airport with a sign, Nittler. You're totally getting arrested.
Depends on what city. Quite frankly. I did see that they were going after another male knitter on one of the.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a bit of a deep dive into that.
Is it
I
or
saw it, but I
not
didn't
not
understand
not the
everything,
one
so-
that not the one that shared the patterns? It's somebody
No,
else
it's a
they were.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's a bit of a weird one. It's a woman who is a real nasty piece of work, and we found out who she is. And I say we because somebody highlighted it for me, and it's somebody who's got a real problem with men and men knitters in particular. And she's basically
Because there's so many of y'all.
well,
Yes,
there's
and
somebody who works
and they
works in the
expect that-
store.
And they expect to get better treatment than women because they're men.
Well, there's
in
one.
a woman's
They
field.
hold a knit night, and this poor guy goes to it, and this woman who works at the store is basically slagging him off and saying some really awful things about him. But
That's
not only
horrible.
that, she's slagging off her boss as well because the boss won't let her knit in the store. And then the next thing she says, "Oh, and this is what my username is on Blue Sky. Go and follow me over there." So then you go on Blue Sky and have a look, and it's her whole name, her whole life. So we know who she is, we know what she looks like, and it's like, why would you do that? And why be
Because-
such a bitch over for no reason, really? You know, it's just because he's
Well-
a bloke. So what?
I've always heard people who own knit stores always said the dream was that they could sit and knit, but that never happens because there's too much to do.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I can
the
see.
Ozarks. That's when situation. Right. Sorry.
Oh,
I think I know
that
who you
is
are now.
pretty-
Yeah.
I think
always get you mixed up.
Tara's
Tara's
in
not
that
that
area
far.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Ozarks
So
are gorgeous.
The yarn store that I'm going to tomorrow that will hopefully take video for people. One of the things she's going to do is Friday night sip and knit, but it's also bros and brews. She wants to get more men into knit because her
Right.
husband, which I don't know what his real name is, she calls him Sven. That's not his real name. I don't know. Because like Sven from like Olaf, I don't know why because she's German, so she just oh, maybe she can make German chocolate cake. Anyway, so she's gonna do bros and brews. I was like, that's really cool. Like to try to get, guys in to knit more, that it's not. So that would be the normal response to men knitting is, hey dudes, let's all knit together. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
wanna-
it's like anytime they and male knitters brought up, they're like, and male knitters expect to be applauded because they're so special. It's like, no,
Well,
they
this is why
don't. They just
Tabitha
want to
and I are
knit.
doing this thing. It's going to be the mansplaining section, so I'm going to mansplain to Tabitha how to spin, even though I've never ever done
Yeah,
it.
well, that's what I
So,
was thinking when she was
know.
talking about that on her podcast, and you were going to teach her. I'm like, I don't know that Neil knows how to either.
No,
I
I've not
know.
even touched it yet. I've got this spinning thing. I've not even touched
back
it.
in the day before things were politically correct, that's what we would call the blind leading the blind.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
My husband got like this little crochet kit thing to like make a taco with, right? And I was like, this is the beginning of the end because like here's the thing about my husband. When he decides to do something, he becomes an expert at it. Right.
He's going to spoil crochet for you.
Yeah, because like he did it with my kitchen, he did it with painting. He's like, and it's not even like he's trying to like outdo me. He's just naturally good at shit he decides that he wants to do.
But
So,
you know
like,
what
look
it
at
is?
this. Yeah,
So it
look
starts
at
with the
Ruby.
taco. It starts with the taco, and then probably next week he's going to be making his own patterns and selling them, and he'll be doing like little tutorials in the calming voice that he has, where it's like, "Hey guys and gals, welcome back to like Cookers and something something. I can't wait to share this new pattern that I came up with like 5 minutes ago."
But the reason it
Yeah.
happens is because men generally, not all men, but are very single-minded, and when they put their mind to doing something, they kind of have to know how to do it, and they have to figure it all out.
Well,
Whereas I think other people, women, you've
There's
got
only
other
one other
things-
people.
I don't know. Is there?
Slipped up there, didn't I?
government says so.
Oh,
So-
okay.
But and
Well,
that's
your
not just
country,
men.
not my country.
That's not just men because our friend Lorelai is like that. Like she is just
Yeah,
like
it's
she's like,
just
Oh,
when
I'm
yeah,
you're.
there's
gonna learn
always-
how.
yeah.
It's an
I'm gonna learn
engineering
how to
brain
weave.
type.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna learn how to embroider. I'm gonna learn how to use my Cricut
I
machine
know.
or whatever. And it's like
I know
she's
every
got
time she's got a new new crafting machine of a new craft that she's mastered in a weekend.
like the first time she knit like a sweater, I think wasn't it like this ridiculously color work like
Yeah,
sweater?
first-
I'm like,
yeah.
Lorelai,
Yeah,
that's
she's
not
like-
how most people.
I want to learn to knit. Okay, I'm going to do colorwork mittens.
Oh, Emily says the taco is the gateway drug.
It really
Yeah.
is. I'll keep you guys updated. Like I'm sure like next week he'll have done a sweater.
Oh, there'll be
As long
something
as
in
it's
the
a-
background. There'll be a whole city.
As long as it's a
crocheted.
decent pattern and not one of those crappy patterns.
He'll probably just make it himself. He'd be kind of like, I looked it up online and I decided that I didn't like any of them, so I just did my own. Do you like this cabling work? And I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? I just make
Well-
shawls.
My son is like that. He gets a new idea and he has to be able to do it. And then once he can do it, he moves on to something else.
See, and
You know,
me,
he's
I'm
like-
like, I learned how to do the one thing really good. I'm just gonna do that 8,000 times.
Yeah,
My daughter-
I did help him a little bit because there's like a little bit of like Tunisian crochet in there, and so I was like, you've got the wrong hook for that. I was like, well, the instructions say to use this hook, and I was like, the instructions are retarded. Here's mine.
Yeah, no, my daughter made a shawl a couple of years ago. I taught them how to crochet when they were little, like 6 or 7, and she hasn't done it since. But she decided she had an idea in her head that she wanted like a shawl that looked like fisherman's netting. So she figured out how to do it. I gave her some yarn in like 3 days. She crocheted it. I'm like, that's really cool. What are you gonna make now? Nothing. I just wanted to know that I could do that. Like, okay, if
I
that's
was
what
like,
makes
She's
you
not gonna steal
happy.
all your yarn.
No.
Yeah. I was
'Cause
like
that's the
that with
problem, isn't it? If
crossstitch.
you introduce anybody to it, they're going to go for your yarn stash.
Oh yeah. Wow. Here you go, Caro. You're not the only one in that boat.
See, exactly. I was like,
But
Lorelai, I
again,
love her to death, but she's
I think-
like, hey, I'm gonna
I think-
learn woodworking, and I just made this like table. I'm like, what? What?
She makes me feel so inadequate because I can't do anything. No, don't get me wrong. She's amazing.
Yeah,
I live vicariously through all the stuff she can do because
yeah.
she'll sit
she's
down and
just-
master something in like 2 days, and it's like,
But she does.
Didn't
She
you
has
just-
that brain. She has that very
Yeah.
analytical.
Well-
Because she has a very government scientific
she's-
job.
well,
and-
she's engineer, so
yeah. So her brain just automatically is like, how can I figure out how to do this? And she just immediately tries to figure out how to do it than me. I'm like, what does the instructions say?
And I'm like,
I still
I
need to get
still,
you to knit that hat, the one that I knitted in mini.
You were
size.
supposed to fix it for me.
Well, I did. I told you.
no,
told
Amy,
you.
what you do, you get those big size
Tell
30
me.
knitting needles and the really big yarn.
Yeah. That's
It
what I
might
need to
fit.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
No.
I don't know. I don't know. Telling is no. I need to, just like I don't do charts. I can't do charts. I don't know what y'all are looking at when you do charts. I'm like, that just looks like numbers and math. I mean, letters and math. I don't know what y'all are looking at.
It looks
I
like
like-
a magic circle to me when I see it.
I like knitting charts, except the problem is so many of the knitting stitch patterns I like are from other countries, so the charts aren't the same, so they're
Oh.
harder to figure out. But I really don't like crochet charts. I can read
I
them.
love crochet charts. They
I
make.
I can
so
read
much
them, but I
sense
don't
to
like
me.
them. I don't like them.
I need words.
I'd
I'd
rather
rather
have-
have a crochet chart than written out. I don't like written out crochet.
See,
Any
crochet,
words?
I'd rather have written out. Knitting, I like a chart. So
Well, the thing is, when it's written
Weird.
out, there's almost always something that you can misinterpret with crochet. Not so much with knitting, but definitely with crochet, because
It's
there's
easier
some
with- yeah.
variables, isn't there? Like, is your 3 chains? Is it, does that count
Yeah.
as a stitch or not? And little things like that. So you always, I always end up with a stitch out if I follow written instructions. But if I look at a chart, I get it right then because I can just see what it's supposed to be.
I don't know. I think my eyes cannot see the chart, right? Like my
Yeah.
brain cannot follow it. It
Yeah,
just doesn't.
because it's not linear. Because
Starts-
knitting charts
yeah.
are are linear.
Yeah.
They're just flat back and forth. But crochet charts are shaped, and I have
This
a hard
goes
time
back
with
to
those.
my theory about maps and women generalizing
maps.
again. If
Can't
you
follow map.
if you can't
I
turn
can
the
do
map
that.
in your brain,
No.
then you're probably not going to turn the crochet
No, dude,
chart in your brain. as well.
Don't north, south, east, west me. What Chick-fil-A do I turn by? Okay, that's my level of directions. No.
Yeah.
We've kind of got
Yeah,
a full
no.
circle here where I
No.
couldn't do the north and east
Look,
and west.
do you know
motorway thing.
at Hanukkah, because this was the first year I actually lit the candles for real, every single night I had to go, okay, they read left to right, so I got to light. I had to literally repeat it every night because you put the candles in one way, then you light them the other way. And
Oh,
it's the opposite
Well-
of English because they read
well,
left to right. I mean, they read right to
back
left.
in the
where we
dark-
read left to right.
Back in the dark ages when I went to school, we actually had to learn how to read maps.
Yeah,
And back then, that's all you had for
they tried to teach me that.
Sometimes you had to be the navigator for your parent who was driving, and you had to.
well,
be
I
able
got
to-
funny looks because the other day
read the map.
I went to Halfords, it's called. It's like a car store, and bought a map. An atlas of the country,
real map,
just
yeah.
in case the sat nav goes down. Because
Yeah.
what happens then? You're stuck without your map.
Oh, Neil,
Um,
your country's so small. Just keep going in the direction. Eventually, you'll hit water.
Well, just go around the whole outside of the country until you get to
Yeah.
where you need to be.
Yeah. You'll be
See,
done
but
in
even
2
then,
hours. It's fine.
I didn't get out a map. I went to MapQuest and I printed the 8 pages of directions to get me where I was because I read the directions.
Well, yeah, I remember the old MapQuest days before there was, Google Maps and all, and before phones had GPS and all that stuff.
And other than that, I just learned which way was the river and which way was the lake, and that's how I figured out how to get home because I live above the lake. So I went to the river. I went too far.
I remember getting yelled
So
at for not
funny.
folding the map back right and putting it back in the glove.
Oh no, I never could do
Department.
that.
My brother
dad
was
had the-
usually the navigator because he was
the big
better
old
at reading.
atlas.
Laurie used to draw maps for
What?
North Carolina.
Oh, that's
Wow.
very
That's-
cool, Lori.
That's a cartographer. I know that word.
Yeah.
Yep. Try being left-handed and dealing with
Yes.
crochet charts. I have to read them
Yeah.
backwards.
Oh,
Knitting
Yeah,
charts show me
yeah.
what the final. Maybe that's why I don't like charts so much because I learned to knit. I learned to crochet from left-handed crocheters. Maybe that's because if they were doing the charts backwards, maybe that's why I don't like them.
Mm.
Maybe, yeah. Well,
That could be it.
theoretically, depending on what the pattern is, it shouldn't matter which direction you go on a crochet chart, depending on what it is.
Well,
If it's something with a what do they call it? Is it fillet crochet or fillet crochet? I don't know how you say it.
Yeah, that's true. And we can
yeah.
also read cursive, so we're ahead.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
That reminds me, Tabitha, you need to teach Tabitha how to make a granny square.
Yeah, I saw that the other day, and it's like,
Yeah.
Tabitha, come on. She was here a minute ago, wasn't she? I don't know if she's still here.
But if
Yeah.
she's not done the stitches in so long, you know, it's
Yeah.
definitely a muscle memory thing. But she's a continental knitter, so she should.
But I have
Should-
another theory. So when you're a continental knitter, the yarn goes over your index finger in a certain direction, and I think when you're a crocheter, the yarn goes the opposite direction over the
No,
same
it doesn't.
finger.
Exactly
No,
the
it
same as
doesn't.
I was just doing it.
Exactly the same. It's just a matter whether you put the hook you go under. You put the hook under as opposed to
Yeah.
But the yarns, I hold the yarn the exact same way
Yep.
knitting or crocheting.
Do you? Ah, right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. That's the
Yep.
exact same way I was holding it to knit the sock.
See, if I crochet, it has to go the back of my finger. Whereas if
No.
I don't do continental very often, occasionally I do, then it has to come down the.
No.
Because
of-
most people who, if they were crocheters first, like when I continental knit, I use the needle
You know,
to grab.
like your
I-
like the
I
hook.
don't
You
really
use it like
move
a
my
hook.
finger. The
But
finger.
I'd be intrigued to see what Tabitha does,
to.
and then to see whether doing the opposite might help her, whichever it is.
Yeah, basically, I
Like,
treat
I
the
still
knitting needle
move-
like a crochet hook.
Like I move
And-
my finger a little bit, but the hook does all
Mhm.
the work. You know?
Exactly.
So I don't move this finger right here.
I'm the same as you.
Yeah,
I,
see,
that's-
I would have to have the yarn going the opposite way, so the yarn, the working yarn, was at the back of your finger rather than the front.
mine is at the back of my finger.
No, I was looking at Amy's.
Mine is. Oh,
No.
because Amy's taking the yarn from the
Oh.
front of her finger,
hmm
whereas I
okay.
would have it at the back of the finger.
Yeah.
Why? Does it,
No, I-
does it? We're all like, ooh, what?
As long as I used to get yelled at for how I held my crochet hook for years because I hold it like a knife,
Knife. Yeah.
and older crocheters would yell at me and say, "You're not supposed to do it that way." I'm like, "Does it work?" Then
Hold it
leave me
like
alone.
that. What's
And
that
a
one?
knife. Yeah,
A
your
knife?
knife.
Yeah, like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the knife hold. Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I saw a video the other day of that northern English guy who's living in America now. And when you eat, you don't use a knife and fork. What?
Wait,
You
I
sent
do.
me that.
I do.
What?
I do. I do.
No, wait. You sent me that. We use a knife and a fork, but we will use the fork. Like if you have like French toast, most of us are not cutting the French toast with the knife because it's
Yeah, you
soft
use
and
the knife.
squishy.
You use the knife when something needs a knife to cut it. Otherwise, you use your
So
fork.
like if I have French toast, I'm going to use the side of my fork to kind of cut the French
Wow.
toast and eat it. Whereas y'all use it for everything.
Yeah,
But
it's
if you-
considered really rude, really bad table manners to do that. You know, with your
So
fork.
you're going to
Yeah.
have fun in America.
I mean, you'd be sat, if
because-
we're sat in front of, if I'm eating something in front of the TV, like chips, as I would
Right.
call it, you'd call them
Right.
fries, then I would probably just have a fork. But if I
Why
had
do you
comfort-
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Whoa,
You eat
whoa,
you
whoa,
eat
whoa.
those with a fork?
Don't judge him.
what,
Don't
as
touch
opposed to what? Cocktail
Your
Yes.
fingers. Your
What?
fingers.
What? Why? Why would you do that?
Because they're finger food. They're finger food.
Caro, you understand me, don't you? You're feeling my pain. You
I am.
understand.
Yeah, wait until you have to eat ribs.
Okay,
Oh,
you go
dear
through
God.
McDonald's and you get fries. You get a fork?
No, well, I hate McDonald's. I don't.
I'm
eat
just-
Well, she just
I don't
means generic fast food
Yeah.
fries.
Generic fast food.
They
Well,
give you
that
both
generation-
utensils.
who are younger than me probably eat more like Americans now. Whereas my generation and older, we definitely
Amy?
are knife and fork people.
Amy, when Neil comes to visit you,
He's
Can
gonna
you
die.
no,
He's
can you
going to die.
please take him to a good fried chicken place? Because I'd love to see him try to eat fried chicken with it.
I mean, the fried chicken, the beignets, the po' boy. He's
The
gonna
po'
die
boy.
having to touch all his food.
Well, the po' boy is still technically a sandwich, so he knows to use his hands for that. But like,
Yeah.
if you asked him to eat like the chips, he would.
Well,
pull out the
also,
fork.
don't forget that our chips and your fries are different. So our chips are bigger.
Yeah, but
So
we
you
eat
would eat
potato
it
wedges with our fingers, and they're the same as your
Yeah.
chips.
Would you?
What
You would eat
They do
potato
eat.
wedges?
No, they eat lots of things like with their fingers. Like if
the offense
Yeah.
that he
You
had.
scoop with your fingers? What the hell?
No,
What'd you do?
Wait,
Scoop
wait.
it?
I'm sorry. Do you eat your potato croquettes with a fork?
Yeah,
you eat. Ugh.
of course you do, because you cut them in half.
You cut them in half. How big? How big are they?
Potato croquettes.
This is amazing. I'm so
about
happy
that
I'm here
big.
for this cultural conflict.
But you can't
Why would
shove
you
one of
need
them
to
in
pick-
your face. You
You
have to
pick,
cut
you
it in
pick it up and you dip it in the ketchup and you put it in your mouth.
They might be bigger than
No.
our. They might be bigger than our tater tots.
You
That
cut
could
it
be.
in half, and you have a bit of the sauce on the
like-
side of your plate,
like
and you dip
visibly
it from the
uncomfortable.
fork.
I know.
He's like visibly uncomfortable with this bowl.
Wait till he goes to a barbecue place and he asks it, and he gets beans and he puts them on his bread, and people look at him like,
No,
"Why are
no,
your
wait,
beans
no,
on
wait
top?"
for ribs. No, wait for ribs, because what's going to happen is you're going to order ribs and you're going to try and
No.
use your utensils, and a gentleman will come
Will
over
come back
and
over.
tell you that you're wrong.
Yes.
And they will, like, there's a clip
Thank you,
with somebody.
Tina. Thank you,
Thank you, Tina. That's also how you finish off your cereal.
How
Yeah,
do you
so
eat
we-
your corn on the cob, as we would call it?
You have the little things that stick in the ends, and
I
you
am
eat it
a
so
like.
you do. So you
I am
don't
a
just
little.
pick it up with
I
your
will
fingers.
pick it up either way, but I prefer the little things because it's hot.
Yeah, I do
you know?
too. Yeah.
So, but I am also. I hate how it gets stuck in your teeth, so I am bougie and I will cut it off the cob.
I will do that too because I
Um,
used to get it stuck in braces,
I
and
don't
I've
like it in
never
my
recovered
teeth.
from
So.
that.
I'm trying to think of other foods now. Then,
I
so
know, like, are we?
I wanna
just
see him-
Neanderthals?
I want to see him try to eat fried chicken with a knife and fork.
I could do
Yeah.
that. You just
They
pull
actually-
the
they
meat
do
off
have
the
breaded-
bone.
They do have breaded chicken over in England. And they do
Yeah,
use
but
knife and
but I'm
fork.
but I'm
But
I'm
is
not
it the
talking like a
whole
chicken
breast?
breast. I mean like whole pieces with bones and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
no, they have
tenders.
that. They have that. Oh, sorry.
But don't you have like greasy, horrible fingers?
Yeah,
That's what
you wipe
napkins are
them on
for.
napkins. That's what napkins are for. Oh my God, crawfish! He's gonna die.
Oh,
Yeah,
I couldn't eat that. I don't think.
or
I could
shrimp
eat that.
cocktail.
Well, don't you eat that with a fork? Surely, shrimp.
No,
cocktail.
no, you pick it up by the tail, you dip it in the cocktail sauce, and you eat it.
What?
Wait, the
And crawfish, you pull it.
Is Mama Nevin still here? Is Mama Nevin still here?
Mama Nevin explained to Neil about
She's
crawfish.
drooling over something. She says she's drooling.
The crawfish.
Surely, ha 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 ha. ha.
See, I
No,
don't even eat crawfish, but I know what you have to do, and it's very,
you
very
break the head
messy.
off and you suck it out.
You pull the you pinch the tail, pull the poop out, and you eat it. Pinch the tail, suck the head, pull the poop out. But that's not the
that
right
doesn't
order. But
sounded really nice at all.
Yeah, how do you get the tail off your shrimp? You got to pull it off.
yeah.
Okay, cut it off with a knife and
Well,
fork.
It depends. If
Well,
if the shrimp is going in something else, then I cut the tails off.
yeah.
but
To
if
be
I'm
fair,
eating it
it's
just-
not food I eat.
But
Yeah.
if it's like
We
an
don't have
appetizer with
shrimp.
cocktail, then I leave the tails on because
Okay,
it's
but
more
like
it's easier.
crawfish down here. Okay, yes, you could have like crawfish soup, bisque,
Yeah, and the meat's already out.
yeah, crawfish etouffee, but actual boiled crawfish is the actual crawfish coming out of the boil, and you have to take the hard, nasty parts off that you don't eat, and any other things you shouldn't eat, and you.
God, can you see him eating lobster?
We're not funding the food, right?
Oh
People
my
suck
god!
I don't
If you
even
want
know.
him to eat
No.
You
certain
say
food, you're
eating
gonna
black
have to buy
pudding's
it.
bad. Come on.
That's what we call it. Suck in the head.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing. It is a thing. Like, okay, Neil, toddlers can eat boiled crawfish. I mean, like for real.
I have to cut it. It's my bedtime.
Okay. Well, we've been on a couple hours anyway, so
Now everybody needs to go and think of what kind of foods do we eat with our hands and find out if he eats them with a fork.
The answer is
Yeah.
probably yes.
That's
Yeah.
that's everyone's homework.
I wonder if he eats mozzarella sticks with a fork.
They probably don't have that.
No, they
Yeah.
Probably
do.
not.
Do we have that? Do we
Yeah,
have that,
you do.
Caro?
Fried,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
it's an
breaded
appetizer.
cheese,
I don't think I've had it myself, but I don't know.
It's an
potato
appetizer.
wedges.
Not
Knife and
like
fork.
what you're-
Loaded potato wedges.
Knife and fork.
It's like it's like pub fries. Yeah,
Oh
or pub
God.
wedges.
We like
I'm-
offended him.
all right,
He was like
Thank you, why
visibly
you come
hurt.
back to the questions.
Bye,
Good
Karen.
night.
Oh, bye,
Bye.
Caro.
Bye.
Poor Neil. He's like visibly pained.
Well, I could just imagine, like, if you came here and you went to someone's house for a dinner, a dinner party type thing, and you were there eating with your fork, and people would just be like,
Well, I would have to watch everybody be like, okay, what's the rules
Well,
here?
from the outside in. So all your knives.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know the rule. That rule. I know that. I know
Yes,
how to
but-
eat properly at nice restaurants.
But you
Well,
just
Amy, they use their knives for everything because they're not allowed to take their knives outside anymore. So they have to just use them for their food.
Yeah, soon we won't even be able to have knives to cut our food up. You watch. Yeah. It's not even a joke.
And I
is
will
it?
say, I will give you that and it is that there are like people in my house who like if you've got
I don't
your
think
fork,
he eats Mexican food anymore, Mom and Evans.
we're gonna fix that problem with the Mexican
know.
food.
Well, we don't
Um,
really have Mexican, as I've realized, because we don't
we
have
will
any
fix that
Mexicans here
problem.
to cook it.
But okay, say if you're like eating scrambled eggs, okay, and you're
Yeah.
kind of chasing it with your fork. Okay, I'm not
And
going to
your
touch
toast.
the food with my hand. I will get a knife or a toast or whatever else is there. I'm not going to
Yeah.
just be like, and put it.
No, yeah, you use the toast
You
and
know. But yeah, if it's a soft food that I don't need, the knife
100%,
for,
Tina. 100%.
100%.
Okay, hands up on this one. I would eat a pizza with. This is where. It
Well,
gets
unless it's
I
deep
would
dish.
Well, deep dish.
pizza
Yeah.
from a pizza place, I would eat with my hands. But
Yeah.
if it was a pizza somebody had made at home, I would eat with knife and
Sometimes those can be a little not as crisp and,
Yeah.
and soggy.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing deep dish or Sicilian, you
Yeah.
tend to eat it with a knife or a fork.
Yeah.
But if you can fold it, you fold it because that's the only proper way to eat pizza. If you can fold it.
I do fold it sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are
that's the
times when
proper-
I wouldn't use a knife and fork.
Please
to
tell
be
me you
fair.
pick up donuts and eat them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
of course. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We're fine.
Well, that's like biscuits, cakes. Well, not what you call biscuits. You would call them
Right.
cookies, wouldn't you?
Oh, we're
What about
So-
scones? Do you eat your scones with knives and forks or do you pick it up
No,
and
but
eat
you
it?
have a knife. But you do have a knife for a scone.
We are so gonna make him eat country gravy and biscuits.
Yum.
He's gonna be like, "What the frick is
Looks
this?"
horrible,
make
but
that-
I believe it
It's
is nice.
so
I've heard
good.
it
It's
just
so
looks
good.
disgusting. It's like
It does look disgusting. It does.
Lots of things look disgusting. Curry's
Yes.
not the prettiest thing in the world either, but
No.
it's tasty.
curry.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's tasty.
I know me curries. I could teach you a few things about
See, when
curries.
you see, and I'd go over there and I wouldn't eat the blood pudding, but I would try
No,
the curries.
we're not doing that.
Oh, you'd love the curries, honestly.
You know,
they're-
but I don't know
they're
anything about the
so good.
curries, so you'd have to teach
Yeah.
me all.
I
the
love curry.
stuff. So
Yeah,
I do love curry.
that's one thing we got right.
I
here.
wonder if do you eat your egg rolls with a knife and fork?
Egg rolls.
Yeah.
What's an egg roll?
Do you not have
Chinese
Chinese food though?
Oh, we call them spring rolls.
no, not the
Well,
spring rolls.
no, no,
Those are
no.
different.
Spring rolls are with different types of wrappers.
Spring
I don't
rolls
know
are the
what an
ones
egg
that
roll is. Though.
spring rolls.
Egg
like
rolls
the
are
see-through
fried.
one.
Yeah,
They're fried.
egg rolls are
Are
fried.
they like little packages, like as if they've been folded up with a
It's
little...
wonton wrapper with them filling, and it's rolled up and it's deep
And it's
fried.
fried. Not the one you
Spring
can see
spring
through.
rolls are steamed. Spring
Yeah.
rolls are steamed. They're the rice paper wrappers.
I would probably eat it. I'm not sure what it is, but I'd probably eat it with a knife and fork.
I mean, it does get messy. Eventually, it all falls
Yeah.
apart, and you have to,
How do you eat bananas?
This is like,
Do you?
Well,
it's a new game show. Like, how do
if you're royalty, you have to eat all of your fruit with a knife and fork.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's
Yeah,
different.
I know.
But banana. You just,
Don't bring a
I was
banana on a
checking.
boat.
I wouldn't hold the middle bit of the banana though in my hand.
Neil's getting the vapors. Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
god!
We're gonna have to take you on a culinary
It is a
exploration.
culinary-
See, here's the issue. I've got a big white beard, so if you're eating with your fingers and like, it's just going to be
Dude,
covered in food.
90% of Louisiana food is tomato based,
finger food.
red finger food, greasy and hot. Your beard is just going to need a lot of purple shampoo. Just get over it, and it's going to be good. You'll have a good time. So
Lots of people in Louisiana. Lots of men have beards. Just saying.
yes, yes.
No, we'll have to get him to
Look.
have grits.
When I have soup, I have to do that with my left hand and use it because otherwise it dribbles down my chin.
We'll engineer a little bib for your beard that goes over your
He
ears.
can knit one and have one different colors.
Little beard.
Not a
beard
bad
bib.
idea.
I have to
Oh
get
yeah,
make
I
it.
definitely want grits. I want to taste grits.
Well,
Man,
there's
they're so
breakfast
good.
grits, and then there's shrimp and
Favorite
grits.
shrimp and grits, and yeah,
I watched
I
there's
don't
this
think I
one
want shrimp in.
yeah, you do. It's
in
good.
my porridge.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
do.
I can't eat shrimp, but it's good.
grits aren't porridge.
No.
And my heathen family, because they're not from the South like me, my children, my husband, they put sugar in theirs, which is wrong.
That's so wrong.
See, that's what I
You
would
put
want
salt-
to do. That's
And
No,
what
my
it's
husband,
savory.
my husband learned that from a Southerner. Shockingly,
It's
I'm
Oh,
said-
Mum
I
and
told him-
Evans, how do I eat hamburgers? Well, that's got bread, so I would use
Pick
it's
it
like
up.
sandwich, so I'd pick that up.
Okay.
I'm still shocked that you call chicken breast sandwiches chicken burgers.
Well, they are. That's what it is.
No, they're
It's a chicken-
not. Ground burgers are made from ground meat.
But Amy and I had this. So Amy calls her, when you've got sliced chicken, she calls it, what is it, luncheon
Lunch
meat
meat.
sandwiches or something?
Lunch meat sandwich.
Like,
Yeah.
Sliced chicken sandwiches. What was it?
Because it's not an actual. You keep thinking it's an actual chicken breast sliced.
It's not.
It's not. It's.
Well, it can be.
It can be. It can be.
It
but
can
that
be.
would just
You
be.
can be.
That would be a leftover chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
So when I say
You
a
have
lunch
to say
meat,
leftover.
when
You
I
can't
say
just
Or
say
lunch
just-
chicken
meat,
sandwich.
Or just a sliced chicken sandwich, sliced chicken breast sandwich.
we're gonna have to show him the deli at the grocery
Yeah.
store that slices the meat.
He's got to go to a good Jewish deli while he's here.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be
Get
good.
good pastrami
I tell you what I would like.
and rye bread.
A proper bagel.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that's where you get
we
those
get
too.
bagels here, but we only
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
the
No, you need a good bagel.
Real. Yeah.
yeah, because I love
Tina.
bagels.
Tina's job is to take you to
Yeah.
get a proper bagel, proper
And to a Jewish deli,
sandwich,
and pizza.
Yeah, and pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm
No, you-
hungry. My jambalaya is ready.
So when you go
Alright.
places, you don't get a knife; you just get a fork.
No, you get
Oh,
you
yeah,
get
you
a
can.
you get a butter knife, and usually
Yeah.
there's a steak knife, a sharp knife too. We just only use them on things we actually need them for.
So when you're eating a steak,
You use the knife.
You use
but
a
do
knife.
you then put the knife down and pick the fork up with your right hand, and then eat the meat that's been cut already?
No, you cut with your left hand, and you eat.
Yeah, you cut with
Cut
your
with
left
your right
hand, and you
hand.
eat
You
with
cut
your
with
right.
one hand, yeah, or vice versa if you're right or left-handed.
But
But
you have
Yeah.
the knife in your left hand.
if you're
If you're
right-handed, yes.
right-handed, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
See,
Wait,
fork
so
in
you-
left hand, knife in right hand, always.
You cut your meat with your knife in your right hand. You put it down, then you pick
No,
up your
no, no,
fork and
no, no,
switch
no.
hands.
No, this is what I thought you guys did. No, we have the fork in our left hand. We would
Okay.
stick the
Oh
fork
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
cut it with
Yeah,
the right
yeah.
hand, and
Yes,
we wouldn't
yes.
let go of the knife at all.
I
then you
have
cook
eaten
it.
like that. I have.
It depends on what you're eating.
At a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Sherry's saying
I-
how I thought you did it. So
I
she
did
says,
that.
no, we put the knife down, then switch back to the right hand, presumably for the fork, which I find quite weird. It's like, wow.
In a nice restaurant, like a really nice restaurant, I will
Tina's
do
just
it.
He's
the
not
way
gonna
you're
eat after
saying.
3 days.
Um,
I dread to
it
think,
depends. Oh yeah, chocolate gravy.
Yeah.
what? Chocolate gravy? Hang on. But your gravy and biscuits is savoury.
Gravy
Right, the
just means thick liquid.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's different kinds of thick
There's
liquids. They're
different
sweet.
kinds of gravy.
They're sweet. They're savory.
Right.
Oh, okay.
There's meat gravies, there's soft gravies, there's savory ones.
Lefty
there's sweet-
crochets. British eat like left-handed Americans.
Sounds legit.
That sounds about right, doesn't it?
All right, we probably ought to head out because it's been a couple hours, and now
I'm
I'm
gonna be thinking
hungry.
about this all night now tonight.
I'm gonna go eat my calzone, and I'm gonna cut part of it, and then I'm gonna pick up the rest of it and eat it, just because I can do both.
I'm gonna go eat my jambalaya with a fork
Not with your hands, like
No,
a
not with my hands.
savage.
because it's a rice dish.
Yeah, I knew your Mexican food was not gonna be the greatest when it had all that
Oh.
plain
Oh,
white
no,
rice
that was
in it.
terrible.
I'm like,
I don't know.
they don't even
I
have
didn't-
they don't even
I
have
didn't eat-
Mexican rice in it. I'm like, oh no.
It didn't even look like what it,
that was
what they advertised it as.
That was
I didn't see
painful
it until it
for
was
you.
delivered.
Yeah, that was.
Well, if you
it was
feel
absolutely-
the desire to order Mexican food again, check with one of us before
Yeah.
you order,
correct.
and we'll translate for you. How's that?
yeah.
Because that was not good looking Mexican
No.
food at all.
No,
Oh,
that was
it
terrible.
It smelled weird as well. I don't
What
think
even was
real.
it supposed to be? Like I couldn't even figure
Um,
out what it was supposed to
no.
be.
Well, I didn't know. I'd never heard of it. So there was it was just beef and something they called it. So I thought that was going to be like a chili.
Was it
That's
supposed to be
what
a
I know.
quesadilla?
No, it had
Is
rice.
that the flatbread thing?
Yeah. Was the
Yeah.
Oh, there was
flatbread part-
one of them, and that was actually okay. That was the only thing that I ate because it was just cheese in one of those, and that was edible. But the rest of
Yeah.
it, I couldn't eat.
That's right, Tina. The way God intended.
What?
I'm gonna eat my
She'd
steak with
eat her
my
steak with
hands.
her hands.
Yeah. Do you just like get a horse bag and just stick it over you?
Or sometimes you just put your fork in it and you just hold it up and eat it off like you would eat off ice cream.
Oh, you and your squeezy cheese and your I don't know.
Look, squirty cream. You ain't got nothing to say. So
Well, it's cream and it squirts. It's down to
Squirty
you if
cream.
you see that in the wrong
and
way.
it's cheese and it squirts. So
Well, you started it with your eating fries and chips with forks.
Yeah.
How, you know,
And guess what? Guess what? We put gravy and stuff on our fries too here.
yeah.
Please tell me if you put gravy on your fries that you
Gravy
There's-
fries, cheese and gravy fries.
When
It's
I
a
when I take
big
you
diner
when,
thing.
when you
but
come
you use it
down
for.
here,
Please tell me that.
there's a thing called debris fries, and the debris fries are our French fries, not your chips. They're the skinny, regular fries. So it's usually in a po' boy restaurant. So it's the leftovers of the bits and pieces of the meat of the po' boy plus the gravy
right.
on top of the fries.
Oh, well, you eat
Well-
that with a fork, please.
Yes,
tell me.
that you would eat with a
Ah,
fork,
right, okay.
Well,
except for the
there was-
stragglers around the edge that are
Well-
dry.
As the fact that a good many of the diners in the Northeast are Greek, we would always have cheese fries, and they would be the gravy and the melted cheese on top of the fries.
I love
Well, those guys that you introduced me to, Amy, the I can't
Disco
think of the names
fries.
now. No, the guys, not the fries.
the
the ones
British
that
guys.
the British guys. Every
Yeah.
time they eat something, they're always saying how tasty it is compared to what we eat here. So
They crack
I'm
me
kind
up.
of.
I watched the one guy who moved to America from Britain, and he vlogs his different experiences, and he made shrimp and grits the other day. He's like, I don't know what this is. He goes, this grit thing and this shrimp thing, and I don't know. And he cooked it, and he goes, well, I'm going to try the grits. He goes, oh, these aren't so bad. I could eat these. And then he goes, tried it with the shrimp and the sauce. He goes, oh wow, this is really tasty. A little
I just
spicy,
can't
but
imagine it.
tasty. It's butter and bacon and
Yeah, and a lot of spice. We have a lot of spice.
a lot of spice.
So, all right,
That's
now we
spicy
really
good.
have to
All
go
right.
eat.
Good night, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here
Thanks,
for me. I
Neil.
appreciate it. We will
Bye-bye.
be back on Friday, probably the normal time. It might be an hour earlier, but I'll post it on Instagram. So we'll see. But Joe and Therese will be there. So thank you. And
Yay.
anyone else is welcome to come join. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.